Good afternoon and welcome everybody to Deconstructing Christianity. Today I am your host, Coach Renz, as we will be just having a philosophical discussion today. Uh, what is the benefit of being Christian? Why should I be Christian? Why should anybody become Christian? And the leaf blower would want to come by my garage right at the time frame that I start, but it's okay. But that's the conversation we're going to have today. Why would anybody want to be Christian? Why should I be Christian? What's the benefit of being a Christian? What am I gaining other than the leaf blower guy going by my door right now, by my garage door? Give him a second to go by. But I really want to have a conversation on what's the benefit of being Christian. Many of us who have walked away from Christianity, we are thrilled that we have walked away. I hear story after story of people who have walked away from all religions, period, but specifically we're talking about Christianity today. I've heard story after story of people who have walked away from Christianity and their lives have been better after they get over the hump of the disappointment, the possible depression, family members losing family members, losing community. After they get past all of that and all those things, and some of us don't lose family, some of us don't lose community. Our lives as our lives gotten better. You don't look or seem thrilled. What am I supposed to walk around smiling all day, every day? If you knew me, I'm the kind of person who can go to a comedy show, laugh a little bit, but think that the comedian is hilarious. I don't display a whole bunch of cheesy smiling all the time. That's just not my personality. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But yes, most of us who have walked away, we find peace. We find a lot more peace in our lives. We have more time. We have less stress going on in our lives. The bigger stressors that we have in our lives come from different situations that we need to handle, whether family, business, health, things of that nature. But we don't have the stress of, oh, I'm going to hell, or am I going to heaven? We don't have those issues. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, say what you're saying. Say what you're saying then. I misunderstood what you meant. But we simply just don't. What is a Christian to you? Anyone who believes in Jesus and follows the teachings of Jesus, that's a Christian. Doesn't matter if you go to a church or not, if you belong to a religious organization, none of that matters. If you follow the teachings of Jesus, believe that Jesus is the Son of God, or God, or however you deem it, you are a Christian, hence the name. But I found this interesting back in 2025 when Pew put out a research statistics. And what they're showing is that, especially over these last 20 years, the non-religious group has become number three. Secularism has become number three. Now, the non-religious group does include people who are Gnostic, agnostic, and atheists. It does include people who believe in that there is a God, there's some source of God, but does not say that the God is the God of Christianity or the God of Islam or any other religion. So even though the group is large in number, they're just like any of these other organizations. There are different thought processes in each one of them. Not everyone in the non-religious is atheist or agnostic or Gnostic. Just like in everyone who's Christian, who claims Christianity, is not Catholic or Protestant or Baptist or Orthodox. So it would include all of them. So just to be clear on those numbers, but it's very interesting that the number of non-religious has grown to about 1.9 billion people. That's why it has negative 2 billion, because it's a little bit less than 2 billion. And we see that that number is continuously growing every year. more and more people are walking away from all religions, and being born and growing up in a westernized country, Christianity is the primary one that I walked away from myself. So today I have two things today. One, I would like to hear from people who have walked away from religion and how it has benefited them, or if it didn't benefit them, what's been their experience? Would they ever go back? Is their life better off? But definitely, I want to hear from the opposition. Why should I be Christian? What is the benefit of being a Christian? What is being a Christian going to do to better my life, better the lives of anyone around me? So that's what we want to hear. That's what I'm looking to have talk about today. Because yes, Christianity is like the fastest declining religion. Now I don't know if old boy responded when he said that. I don't look thrilled. You don't look. Who said that? So that's not what I'm saying. Okay, so he never expressed what he actually was saying, or I don't see it. Nope, never expressed what he was actually saying. And somebody just said, I don't look thrilled, but never gave an explanation as to what do they mean by that. Tony.
Hello.
Hello, Tony. Are you over 21?
Yes.
All right. Are you a believer in the Bible?
I'm a number 4.
Oh, Hinduism?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this will be interesting. So why should I be Christian from a Hindu perspective?
Well, first, can I ask, do you identify with any?
What does that matter? What does that matter? Why should I be Christian?
Okay. You don't have to be.
Okay. All right. So let me. You say you identify as Hindu. Why should I be Hindu?
You don't have to be either. All you have to do to get out of this hellhole run is to get rid of your selfish desires and just to do loving actions towards other people.
I don't need a religion to do any of that.
That's right.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't need a religion to do that. I'm not in a hellhole.
Oh, we're for sure in a hellhole.
No.
That's not a. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to see it that way.
No, because my life is not a hellhole. My life is not tormenting. My life is. I'm not surrounded by all this stuff, and I don't let all the. And when I do see things on the news, or people are talking about things, or even just people that you come across and they always just complaining about their damn life, I don't engage. So it doesn't affect me.
Your life may be really good right now, but as long as there's birth, disease, old age, and death in existence, you can't be happy. You cannot have eternal happiness in that situation, because all that stuff really sucks.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to have eternal anything because life is finite. So that's a non-starter as far as having anything eternal. But let's say what you're saying, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that like what in heaven everything is going to be great. There's no disease, no pain, no sorrow. Yeah. Okay, so what is heaven? What does heaven give me? What is going on in heaven?
What does it give you? What do you mean by that?
Like, okay, so what's going on in Hindu heaven? Like, what's life like in Hindu heaven?
Well, there's this guy called Krishna there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's God, but he makes himself forget that he's God, because you can't, and we forget that he's God too. because you can't have an intimate relationship if you see him as God. But anyway, he's just a cowherd boy, and he's eternally 16, and he just likes to play, like any other kid likes to play, because play is the highest bliss. But all of us adults, we got rid of our play nature whenever we grew up. Some of us didn't.
Yeah, I didn't.
Good. That means you might be on your way home.
But okay, so what you're saying is in Hindu heaven is just a whole bunch of children playing.
I mean, that's oversimplification.
I'm only going by what you're telling me. You're saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave all this stuff about Krishna, which doesn't matter. I asked, what is heaven like? Like, what if I converted to Hinduism and I gave my offerings and I followed the rules and I make it into, is it Nirvana or Samadhi? Which one I get into?
It's called Mukti, which means liberation.
Okay, I get into liberation. What's going on in liberation? What's my life like? What am I doing for eternity?
Of course, I really can't say. But all I can say again is that you don't have to become a Hindu to get there. Again, all you have to do is become selfless and do loving actions to others, and that's your ticket.
Okay. Do you mind me asking what country do you live in?
America.
All right. You live in America. And if I said, Toby, let's go to Brazil. Wouldn't you want to know what we're going to be doing in Brazil? Don't you need something to make you want to go to Brazil?
Well, what's more important to me is if the place I'm in right now, if there's people hurting each other, and if I knew that Brazil was a place where people didn't hurt each other, that would be enough for me to want to go.
Okay.
Without knowing about any activities or pastimes that go on there.
So you just go there, don't know what's okay. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me.
It has to. Even if there's no activities there, I would still rather exist in a place where people don't hurt each other.
So you rather be in a place where you're just sitting around doing nothing?
If that's the only option versus a place where people hurt each other, yeah.
So okay. I want to argue, but I'm not going to because it makes no sense to me. And you're not really giving me a lot here because I'm asking you questions, but you're not really answering the question. Because unless you can describe what's happening in the place, I have no desire to go to that place.
Okay, I'll sum it up in just one word: play. And you can express play in so many different ways. Just look at any kid playing hide and seek or cops and robbers and whatever it is. It's play. That's what goes on eternally in heaven. It's play.
Yeah, that's boring. Let me ask you a question. Is there sex in Hindu heaven?
No.
Oh, hell no. You can keep that. I'm just saying. You said play is the highest. You said that's the highest thing, but that's not the intimacy. And I'm not just talking about the physical act, but there's the intimacy of it as well on top of the physical act. Nah.
There is romantic relationships, but it's not that type of way.
Who you romantic with?
You can be romantic with God, or you could be romantic with other souls.
What is this, like a polyamorous, polygamous type situation?
I don't know.
I mean, it would have to be if everybody's having a romantic relationship with your God, then God is you got poly.
Trini Prince, I'm a Vaishnava.
Okay. Well. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming up, Toby.
Okay. Take care.
All right. You have a good one. You gotta give me some reason to go there. I'm not going there for can't tell me nothing. Yeah.
Good day, brother. I wonder if I could comment on this guy and his play.
Okay. Are you over 21?
Way over that.
All right. And
Don't look at-
are you a believer in the Bible?
Well, I know the scriptures, yeah, and I believe the scriptures is what it is.
Okay. So why should I be Christian?
You shouldn't be, actually. You shouldn't be. Christian is not a part of Christianity, is not a part of the Bible, so you shouldn't be Christian.
Okay.
You should know the
Look,
nation you descended from in the scripture.
Well, I don't descend from any nation in the scriptures. The nation doesn't speak of, no, the Bible doesn't speak of anyone in my heritage.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
Well, I know so. It's not a
Okay.
say so. It's a know so. I know where my family comes from. And my family doesn't come from any Middle Eastern country or any
Okay.
North African country or any European country.
Okay.
So-
I'm not gonna fight against that. You know thyself, so I can't tell you about you.
So,
No.
so
I know
then
all
why?
nations descending from people. All people descended from people.
Yeah, but I didn't descend from Adam and Eve. My ancestors were around long before Adam and Eve were ever created, before the
Okay.
story was. So, like,
Okay.
where are you from?
Me, the Caribbean.
All right. So, did your West African ancestry come from anywhere in the Bible?
Well, as I said, as I read the book, right, it's just a book to read and understand what it's saying. And all nations descended from people in the scripture. You understand? So
Well,
pertaining to your post or your Christianity, Islam, non-religious, Hinduism, Buddhism, other Judaism, I don't think you should be any, because they're all man-made religions.
well,
What you should be is what you're saying you are.
What-
Just follow the customs of your people. I don't know. I'm so you understand where I'm coming from. Just whoever you say you are, your people supposed to have a custom that they has been doing from ancient of times. If you follow that, then you're on the right track.
no, I think they were wrong too. I think they were wrong too.
Well,
When I look at my ancestors who were Yoruba, I don't think that they were right in their worship of Shango and Olorun and Odumare.
oh, that's polytheism, right? In a sense.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Polytheistic.
Polytheism, monotheism, neither one of them matters. None of the gods existed. So why would I think that they were right? There's no proof that any of those gods existed.
So, could you lead them in the right way, possible?
Yeah, just be good people.
Or you still seeking?
I'm not, no.
You personal.
I mean, I'm always a student. So I don't think that there's never an end of learning. But
Okay.
do I think that could I lead them into the belief of some God? Unless there is evidence of that God, then I would
According
never
to
lead them.
history, what's the longest living doctrine? What do you call it?
What's the
Egyptian doctrine, Kemet doctrine,
no animism?
animism?
Yeah.
And what do you consider that is like?
Animism is when you project your emotional thoughts of spirituality and divinity onto inanimate objects like rocks and animate objects like birds and stars and all that kind of stuff.
Understood. But orally, right?
I mean, orally and, stone pictures.
Script. Like writing.
Well, no, not writing, not so much writing. So like when we go look at Taran Tepe didn't utilize any type of script writing, but what they showed was that they built pillars and they identified different constellations and gave worship to those constellations.
Even the Incas and the Aztecs has all sorts of different understanding where that is concerned.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, they all did because they were from different parts of the world observing similar things as well as different things.
People are the ancient sun kingdoms of the Americas, right? I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, sun worship. Well, pretty much everybody can go back to sun worship. Almost everybody on the planet historically, at some
And
point,
has gods-
they worship the sun.
and has gods that they praise for their winning of power.
Yeah.
losing of power.
So I wouldn't, but I wouldn't worship the sun. I understand what the sun
Oh,
is. I
I
understand
agree.
our place. So why would I worship it?
Would you worship the divine power of all creation?
Why would I worship anything?
I'm just asking.
No, I wouldn't worship anything. I don't think anything deserves worship.
Okay, so would you give thanks to the divine power of all creation?
No. Why would I need to give thanks to it?
But you consider yourself a god, right?
No, I consider myself me, I'm not a god.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
a,
at least you get at least you get a straightforward answer from me. Don't be in no religion, because all religions are made by man. If you have a people that you have came from, as you said you do, then you either follow the customs that they do of ancient of times, or since if you do have deeper knowledge and understanding of the right way of life, you guide them into the right way. Is the only thing we're looking for solutions here now and answers. Yeah.
yeah, the right way is just treat people exactly how you want to be treated. Don't interfere with someone else's ability to live their life as happily as they possibly can. Even in your pursuit of living your life as best you possibly can, if it inhibits someone else's life purposely, then you shouldn't be doing it. So it's just everybody. I don't want to be murdered, so I'm not going to murder. I don't want anybody to essay my children or be essayed myself, so I'm not going to do it to anybody else. So it's basically that type of premise. And if there was something that I thought would make me happy, like let's say I was a person of a mindset that I thought that stealing from someone would make me happy. Well, I'm hurting someone else, so I still shouldn't do it, even if I felt like I wanted to do it.
Okay, can I just drop something in the meanwhile, though?
What's that?
As far as I got older and get more understanding and deeper knowledge, just knowing things, I've realized that that book that they call the Torah or the Bible or the scriptures has nothing to do with any of those religions, but nations of peoples and persons who descended from peoples and persons through the seed of a man. So, within knowing that, I have deciphered and understand that that is a sound doctrine, foundation strong by the divine power who have sent his prophets to speak unto the children of Israel, to teach them and give them a heritage and an identity and a customs that they follow, so that the book is not a religious book as some people may think or say. It is a book of a nation.
It's a book of a nation with some. It's a book of a nation with some bad morals, some terrible morals.
Are the laws, statutes, and commandments is bad morals, that a man should not live with a man and a man should not live with peace?
Well, there's a whole bunch of there's more. There's more than 10. See, there's the law that says. Excuse me.
600 plus, but are they bad morals?
Most of them, yeah. At least half of them.
Give me one that is a bad moral.
If a young woman who is not betrothed to a man is raped, then the man who raped the girl pays the father 50 pieces of silver, and the girl now has to marry her rapist.
Do you understand that that woman would never want to be with that man and he would have a miserable life? Do you understand that?
The fact that she has to marry, all the subsequent things don't matter. The fact that you are forcing a young girl to have to marry a man who raped her, that's horrible.
That's why a man wouldn't rape. He wouldn't rape.
But men do. But men do, and this guy said, here's my law based on it. Here's my law based on it.
Law is not in effect today.
It doesn't matter if it's in effect today. The point that it was at any given time what this guy said, and that's not in that was a time frame that this guy said it. Now, even if man chooses not to follow it and our morals have grown to where we wouldn't do that, then that just shows that we are more moral than this God.
Well, no, you have the wicked is ruling the earth, so all sorts of wickedness will happen for sure. But when the righteous rule, everyone is joyful. But when the wicked rule, everyone moans. So understanding the true fact of the nations that is descended from Ham, Shem, and Japheth, whether you want to believe it or not, to understand it or not.
You giving a bunch of bruh, you're doing a bunch of word salad on that one. The point is, if you have a if you are a man, if you have a daughter and some man rapes your daughter, according to this law that this God says, you have, and that man pays the bride price, she has to marry that man.
But check this. You know, one of the 13. Let me just say this. One of the 13 child of Jacob.
No.
Who's Jacob? Just let me say this.
No, I want you to ask, I want you to respond to what I said, not go off into something else.
Because you don't understand what that said. So I'm using this as a when Dinah was raped, what happened to Dinah? What happened to the men who raped Dinah? Do you know about that story?
Yeah, the two brothers tricked them into getting circumcised in the whole town, getting circumcised, right. And then they went and killed all the people in that town. What did the brothers do? They went and killed everybody in that town. But
all right, that deserved to be done.
And then they were chastised for doing that because Jacob was going to have his daughter marry that man. And so the two sons were chastised. Y'all forget about that part, how they were chastised for doing that. Because Jacob wanted to go ahead and let Dinah marry this man.
All I can say, my brother, we need better understanding.
No. Understand that. Was I think it's Perez and somebody somebody, I forgot the two names of the brothers. Were they not chastised for genociding that town?
I have to double check on that, but
yeah,
they did what they had to do, right?
They did what two angry brothers did, but they were chastised by Jacob for doing it because Jacob was going to have her married.
Actually made a covenant with them by someone else more in authority, and they made a covenant with the men, and then they waited until the men were healing, and then they went and basically unalive and take out everyone.
Yeah, so and they were chastised for killing them. They made a deal. But the part that they decided on their own is the part that you're trying to say that is an understanding of that law when it's actually not an understanding of that law. That's them going outside of that law, ignoring that law.
This conversation, I'm glad you know the scripture so that's why I know it's for you. So you will have no excuse, right? You will have no excuse. Knowing the nation you descended from is very important because you just told me you descended from people who was way before whoever, right? But yet still, you live in America, don't you?
Yeah.
All right.
And I was
for the past 400 years, haven't your people been going through an enormous, devastated time and still presently?
No.
Don't laugh, brother.
No. I'm laughing because you put 400 years on there because I know where you're trying to go with that.
400 years.
But 400 years is an indication of slavery. Have the black people in America been going through 400 years of slavery? No.
Well, you're still in slavery right now.
No, I'm not a slave. I'm not
you. From the time you have a birth paper, it's on bonded paper.
Bruh. I'm not even gonna let you go through that bullshit and start talking that. We are not going through, we are not slaves just because you sit up here. And I'm moving on to the next person because this conversation getting dumb. How many times are black people going to try to justify the transatlantic slave trade? How many times are black people going to sit up here and talk about, oh, we still in slavery, we still in slavery? If your ass was still in slavery, then you be working for someone and you wouldn't have the ability to not work for that someone. There is a huge distinction between slavery and having a job, between slavery and having a birth certificate. These people, in order for black people to stay with this book, they have to convince themselves that this was God divine's right given thing for, and we supposed to be, and we going through this slavery as a punishment. Larry.
Hello.
Hey, Larry. You over 21?
Yeah, I'm 22.
Cool. Just barely made it. All right. Are you a believer in the Bible?
Yeah, I'm a follower of Christ.
Okay. So why should anyone be hold on. Bible-minded control. Thank you for the jewels. Thank you very much. Why should I still be Christian, or why should I be Christian?
Why should you be Christian? I think, well, the reason I'm Christian is because, I mean, Jesus died for our sins. I mean, I'm grateful for that, and that's just factual, right?
No, it's not
He,
factual.
he obviously
Wait,
lived.
it's not factual. No.
Well, according to the Bible, is what I'm saying.
Okay, according to the Bible.
I mean, he was a real person.
No.
Scholars agree on that.
No, they don't.
I mean, Jews agree on that.
No,
I mean, would you like me to pull up some evidence of scholars agreeing that he lived?
there's some scholars who do agree that he lived. There's scholars who don't
I mean,
agree that he
it's
lived.
taught in schools.
Yeah.
It's so many events happen because of it.
Do you know that if the biblical studies school did not teach that he was at least a historical character, that those schools would be unfunded? Those departments would go unfunded.
If they didn't?
Yeah.
Where's that from?
That is part of the requirement. Just like when you go to a seminary, you have to sign a document that says that no matter what you find out, you will support the doctrine of the school. So,
like, what was putting that in place? Was specific policy or law? Like, what document?
it's not a law. It's just what the schools. It's what the schools say. Is there
education put that in place?
Not the Department of Education, the school itself.
So this at each individual school.
Each one can make their own decisions. Each individual school make their own decision as to whether or not they're going to say that or not. So let me give you an example. There's a college professor that I communicate with, and used to communicate with, and he teaches at a well-known school in Atlanta, Georgia. He does not believe that, and he teaches biblical studies. He does not believe that Jesus was a historical character, but the school says that he has to say that Jesus is a historical character in his teachings. So each school has their own.
There's plenty of evidence for it.
What's the evidence for it?
I mean, there's Roman doctrine.
You blinked out. Oh, hold on for a second. My bad. I didn't put my phone on airplane. What? So I didn't hear what you said. What's the documentation?
It caused a whole ripple of events. It caused Christianity. People didn't just make this guy up. Like, people became Christians at a certain point for a reason.
Hold on. You said that there was documentation. What's the documentation?
I'll bring it up.
Come on, man. Don't take all day. And you can't handle the truth.
It's not documented, but one of the historians recognized that he exists.
Which
early Romans?
Which historian?
Tacitus.
Tacitus didn't recognize Jesus. So
yes, he did.
Okay, so what you're reading in Tacitus's Annals is one. He talked about someone named Crestius, and that the people who followed him were called Christians. In around the 4th and 5th century, the church, now formerly the Roman Church, they tried to erase the E and make it into an I, and then they wrote out in the margins Christians. So Tacitus wasn't necessarily talking about Christians, and we cannot identify them as Christians. He never mentioned Jesus. He mentioned a dude named Crestius, which Crestius was a common Roman name for a good person, a good slave, usually referred to as a slave or a poor person. So that's not proof of that. Now, even him mentioning that in 112 to 116 CE, he's referencing what people believed, not the fact that this person existed.
Oh, that makes sense. I was listening for it.
Yeah, because you're an American. You're an American, right?
You can really deny it because it's obvious that somebody moved this Christian movement at that time.
Okay.
Something happened.
Was there a time that there was a huge movement in Egypt where people believed in Ra and Isis and Osiris?
Well, yeah, there's an easy explanation for that. And those were the fallen angels that came down.
This was long before any biblical writings were ever written or stories even told.
In the Old Testament, yeah, they were when the Old Testament was being created.
It
talks about it.
It talks.
The Book of Enoch talks about it.
The Book of Enoch, it was written in around the 2nd century BCE.
Yes, just because it was written later on doesn't mean it's not true.
So you
there's a reason they looked the way they did.
so you got a book written in 1 BCE that's telling you what happened 5,000 years prior.
Well, I mean,
And that book's supposed to be right.
prophecy. It was told to the prophets. I mean, if you don't want to believe it, it's whatever.
No, I'm not
I'm
gonna.
not gonna believe it. It makes a whole lot of sense to me.
It only makes sense because you want your Bible to be correct. That's the only time it makes sense, is if you want the narrative that you already believe to be correct, then that makes sense. But if you look at it from not having a predetermined landing point, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of evidence, though. Like the cities that were found. The sulfur found in Sodom and Gomorrah. Have you looked into that? The Shroud of Turin.
Yeah, well, the Shroud of Turin is a forgery. The sulfur that's found in multiple places in and around
That's not
the
the only
dead.
place that's ever been found.
No, then why are there two locations that's a tourist trap? I've been to both of them. Two
Two
places.
locations of the sulfur.
It's two places that's set.
Two separate cities.
There's two places. No. There's two places. Each place claimed to be Sodom and Gomorrah, neighboring cities. One is on the north side of the Dead Sea. One is on the south side of the Dead Sea in Jordan. So one in Israel, one in Jordan. Both places claim to be Sodom and Gomorrah. Both are tourist trap. Both of them have their own Lot's wife pillar. They're both claiming the same thing because they're tourist trap situations. But that's not proof of the Bible at all, because the time frame that would have happened doesn't match when the whole Lot story should have happened. So you still got an issue
All
there.
these different places.
I've been to most of them.
Like which ones?
If it's
I
in
just wonder about your experience.
if it's in Jerusalem, Israel, I've been. Been to the ones places in the Bible, all the places in Israel, all the places in Turkey, all the places, one place in Jordan that I just mentioned, and one place in Egypt, which would be, where the pyramids are.
Yeah, Giza.
Yeah, but I've been to all those places. So I've been to Tarsus, been to Ephesus, been to Corinth, been to Jerusalem, been to Bethlehem, Nazareth.
Were you a Christian at one point?
Yeah, used to be.
Why'd you turn away?
I studied the Bible and realized that it's inaccurate. It has a whole bunch of contradictions, that it doesn't match up to history.
One example of a contradiction.
Oh, one of my favorite and simplest ones is the fact that according to the book of Matthew, Jesus had to have been born before 4 BCE because he was born during the time frame of Herod. But according to Luke, Jesus was born in 6 CE during the time frame that Quirinius became the governor of Syria and Judea got absorbed up into Syria. And so Jesus could not have been born. That's at minimum a 10-year difference in time frame of his birth. Can't be born in 2 separate decades.
So you've really done extensive research, right?
Yep, about 30 some odd years.
Yeah. I'm gonna look into that though. You mentioned it. I don't know.
Which one?
I'll let somebody else come up.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we'll go.
First.
Appreciate you, man. That was Larry. Let's see. I didn't see when everybody clicked on, so I'm trying to click on it as much and as accurate as I can. Tranny Prince.
Hello.
Hey, are you over 21?
Yes, I am.
Good. Are you a believer in the Bible?
No,
Okay.
I'm Hindu. But when the other guy was up, I just wanted to clarify that. Like, you asked him a good question. He said, where is he from? He said America. And I feel like a lot of American Hindus kind of take an Abrahamic lens on the way that they view things. They don't understand that there are different philosophies under Sanatana Dharma, which is the original name of Hinduism. There's different ideas, not just one. So I hope he didn't paint a weird picture in your brain when he was describing certain things that he specifically believes in.
Oh no, he didn't. And I know this sounds like the typical racist thing that people say, but I got Hindu friends, and I've spent time at some of their temples. Even to this day, I will go to a Hindu temple not because I worship in Hinduism, the architecture is just magnificent, and the peace and tranquility. The fact that most Hindu temples that I've ever known of, if you just want to go and sit there in the gardens, you can.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't like say, oh, you got to do this in order to be here. So it's a very peaceful environment to be in.
But that's like one of the things, so right? Like you could call yourself a Hindu or a Sanatani originally, and not worship any deity. You don't have to have. You could be non-dualistic. You could just believe more in sciences. Say energy is eternal. You don't have to do any rituals. You don't have to say any things. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to go to temple. You don't have to eat certain ways. You don't have to do nothing. All we really have is cause and effect, and that's how we live life. You do this might happen. You do that might happen.
Hold on now, you can't eat a cow.
Yeah, some Hindus can actually.
What?
It's not yeah.
I've never met one of them Hindus.
Yeah, and I think the place called Mayalama and Mayali or something, Mayalama in India. Yeah, they eat beef.
Okay.
So there's no doctrines. You don't have commandments. We can't do this. We can't do that. Remember, like that's the Abrahamic thing to have commandments from God. We don't have commandments.
Right. So I know in Hinduism, there's no like uniform code or uniform book. You got multiple different ones between like Upanishads and Bhagavad Gitas and all that. So he couldn't answer the question. Maybe you can answer this question. What is the afterlife in Hinduism? You're not satisfied. Let's say I satisfy my dharma. Good to go.
Okay.
What is my afterlife?
That depends if you're dualistic or non-dualistic. So if that guy before, he's a Vaishnavite, he said that means he's dualistic. He thinks God is something separate and that heaven is a separate realm that he goes to and experiences something. That's his prerogative to believe that. If you don't want to believe that, if you just want to believe that you go you get cremated, you become ashes, you go back into the nature, technically that's what happens, or you get buried back into the earth. You don't have to believe whatever makes you happy. That's what you could believe. That's the freedom of Hinduism, really. You don't have to believe one certain thing. If you say, you know what, man, after this, that's it. Okay.
So basically, it's your choice.
Yeah. You don't have to, like, no one's going to tell you, yeah, you're going to here, or you're going to there. Oh, yeah, they do that here. Like, no. That's these specific philosophies, they believe that. But there's other philosophies under Hinduism that you don't have to follow them people.
Okay.
Non-dualistic and to say, oh, there's no deity that I pray to, that I just, I'm living here. This is life. Atoms, science, Higgs boson, Higgs field. These are things I could observe and understand. And the reality. You could just live like that. So before the Abrahamics existed, Hinduism wasn't considered a religion. It was just a way of life. That Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, Taoism, they're all dharmic religions. They come from Sanatana Dharma, which is Hinduism. Right.
So why would I'm not just saying right, how people say right, but they just don't know what the hell you're talking about. I understand exactly what you're talking about. So why would I? And I've often told people, before I would become any of the Abrahamic religion, if I had to choose a religion, it would probably be Taoism. Knowing that it does stem from Buddhism, which stems from Hinduism. Because out of that religion is, to me, is more peaceful, doesn't have as much fuckery going on as these other religions do. But I still, of course, I'm still not going to become Hindu, because I'm still not. I remember I used to go to this one Hindu temple, and I don't know how I went at different time frames, but that damn lady always found me, and I was always working. She had me carrying the food out to all the different damn statues. It was like as soon as she see me, she was putting my ass to work. I didn't mind, I did whatever she wanted me to do. She didn't speak English. I ain't speak Hindi. And then she leave me alone, and I go find me go to my little spot and sit there and just meditate for a while. But going to temple and still having to worship, and they got, they have the whole ring with all the different deities.
Right? What? Sorry, a ring?
Well, it's like, it's not a ring. I'm just saying, like, you go into the temple, there's a altar over here for, I don't know, Lameshki. There's an altar over here for, Shanti. They got all the different altars. And then you can go into whichever altar, go towards whatever altar you wanted to go to. Like whichever one was your family deity or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
That's a very interesting temple that you've been to, because usually temples just focus on one philosophy and they only usually have one specific deity. But I kind of get what you're talking about.
What city are you in?
I'm in the east. I don't want to go to divulge too much.
Well, if you ever go to Atlanta,
Atlanta.
yeah, if you ever go,
Hindu temple in Atlanta.
oh yeah, there's like 3 or 4 major temples in Atlanta.
Okay.
There's one in Lilburn. If you go to the one in Lilburn, now there's one on the south side too, but I can't remember what town that's in. I think it's either McDonough or North. I think it's McDonough. But I know the one in Lilburn. If you go to the one in Lilburn, you go inside, and there are different. They have now. There's a main one up front, like where people sit and they're facing during the service. There's a main that they face, but there are other smaller ones like on the side, like other smaller. Yeah. So that's what I mean.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't go to temple. Like, remember, Hindus don't have to go to temple. We don't have to read the quote unquote holy texts. Our holy texts aren't seen as the Abrahamic holy texts. We're not commanded to do these things. So I don't go. Okay. That's just me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I get you. I understand.
Well, I just didn't want that guy to like confuse and say, yeah, there's Hindu heaven and they do this, they do that. That's his specific thing that he thinks.
No, yeah, I understand. I understand. He was talking about they just up there playing. I was like, nah, that ain't what I heard, but I'm gonna leave you alone because I'm not an expert on Hinduism, so I can't go there. I just, as you can tell, I know some outskirt stuff about Hinduism.
Yeah. No, you good. He just had such an Abrahamic lens on his idea of Hinduism, and that happens a lot of times in America. Like, people just, they've been so influenced by Abrahamic things that when you see Hinduism, they just have to see it in this specific way. They can't see it in a broader sense.
Well, that's how you spread a religion. If you bring in a new, so when like a lot of the Eastern religions, when they came to the United States, they have to give it a Abrahamic spin to it in order to get those people to cross over. It has to be something familiar. That's in the same way you got all the denominations in Christianity. They had to use a base first, and that's what the guy right before you didn't understand. All these, Abrahamic religions, and they are made up, but they're made up from a base situation, and then they move.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like Buddhism, it started at Hinduism is the base, and then Buddhism. Buddhism is the base, and then Taoism. So they have a base that they go to, and then they just have enough of a difference to be something different, but still truly familiar to the person. Yeah. And
right. That's how the Hare Krishna spread here. The guy from India came, and he introduced like the concept of sins and this and that to the Christians here to get them to come over, but we don't have that.
Yeah. Even Hinduism itself right now, even in India, is not exactly how it used to be before the British came.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that got corrupted, even from the Mughal invasion, the Muslim invasion.
Yep.
A lot of stuff.
So it's kind of like how Christians today aren't practicing the same Christianity that was practiced 2,000 years ago or 1,500. Well, I'm gonna say 1,900 years ago. They're not. It's not the same. It's different.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I think that they might want to disagree with you on that. But me as Hindu, like, I think it's fine. Things change. The world changes. People change.
Yeah, and
society changes.
And the religion changes according to the society, not the other way around.
You adapt and keep on going. You can't be like, oh, we did it the same way back then. Like, how do you know that?
Yeah, women would still not be able to vote in most countries if that was the case.
I mean, I think in some countries right now they're still not.
Yeah, they still not in some countries. But women wouldn't be voting, and slavery would still be ongoing if religion stayed exactly the same. Women would be property, your children would be property, all that shit. So
I think only until the 50s, Libya had to outlaw slavery.
They still practice it.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah, in the
Constitution wise.
Oh, Constitution wise, because I know it was still going on in the 90s when I was in Europe. So yeah.
No, it's still actually going on there, but they just do it on the down low.
Right.
Who talks about it.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of that.
But I appreciate you, man. I just wanted to come clear up that that got confusing.
My pleasure. No problem. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, there you have
Have
a
a
good
good
one.
day.
You too. I don't know. Maybe somebody will talk to me about the subject matter that I want to talk about. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just clicking on names here. I don't know who is next on here because I want to know why should I go back to being a Christian? Is there any benefit? Is there a reason? Is there a justification? Is there some hardcore proof that Christianity is real? Shroud of Turin is a forgery. And just because of and I posted a video before I started today. And one of those videos, just even though we know that certain people existed, it doesn't mean the religion is true. Like Jerusalem is a real place. Does that mean that David paraded the Goliath head around Jerusalem? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Even if you could prove Jesus was a real person, it doesn't mean he was the Son of God. Bones.
What we talking about?
Bones, you there?
Yeah, what we talking about?
Hey, first, are you over 21?
27, bro.
All right. And are you a believer in the Bible?
The whole Bible believes certain scriptures, yeah.
Okay, so you don't believe in the Bible, certain scriptures you do believe.
Yeah, because it's different versions of the Bible.
Okay.
And it's also different books. Like, you talk about the Bible, you got to talk about the Ethiopian Bible. You got to talk about all different type of books.
Do you
say the Bible is like?
Do you read Giaz? Okay, gotta do me a favor, and this is just a personal thing. Please stop eating, because mouth noises. You know how like people got the nails on the chalkboard.
No, I didn't really hear that.
Yeah, man, the crunching and the mouth noises. That's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I can't do that noise. Not trying to do it. Yeah, I don't know if you're on your lunch break, and I don't want to mess up your lunch break or nothing like that, but whoo.
Why you religious?
No. That's you say, why should I be Christian? I'm not Christian. I don't believe in the Bible.
Why?
Because I studied the Bible and found all the contradictions, the inaccuracy as far as history is concerned. Yeah, there's no reason for me believing it.
So do you believe, not to cut you off, but do you believe the Bible is a book of spells?
No, not so much. I mean, I understand what I used to. I went through that process where people were saying that, especially the book of Psalms. The Bible is just it's a hodgepodge. People trying to create a history for themselves. People believing that that some God is going to save them, that some God is for them. The common trope of a culture, of multiple cultures.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the people that made the Bible? That's a real question that I want to know.
You said who's the people that made the Bible?
Yeah, who wrote the Bible?
Oh, wrote it? You got like you got 100, 200 people who possibly wrote this book. Edited. We're talking about all the edits and the core writing and the edits and all that.
Who they called? Like, what they mean? Like, was it Christians? Or was like a certain society or something?
What part? Because you don't have the same people writing the Gospels or the letters of Paul or the epistles or that wrote the book of Daniel, that wrote Genesis. You got different people at different time frames writing all that.
Oh, so different people for different. Okay, I got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it depends. It has to be more specific as to who wrote what, and then the putting together of it. Now, to canonize it, so now to canonize it depends on which canonization you're talking about, because you got different canons by different people at different times for different reasons. for instance, you mentioned the Ethiopian that's in Ge'ez. The Ethiopian
Yeah.
was brought to them by Frumentius in 300, around 330 BCE. I mean 330 CE. All right, and he converted King Azana. King Azana then took the writings that Frumentius brought with him, who Frumentius was from Syria, but he was under the Bishop of Alexandria. And then they translated those books into Ge'ez. And so now you got an Ethiopian Bible, which is not the same as the one that you see people selling. That is not the Ethiopian Bible.
Oh no, not even close.
So now that's how that canon came about. But then you got other canon, like the most common canon that most people are familiar with. That was a process that began around even though it, and let me be clear, even though Athanasius started publishing what he thought should be the canon in 325, the canon was not done in 325. It didn't really start getting put together until around 369, 370, around that time frame, and it took a couple hundred years for a canon to be established that most people are familiar with. And then you got 11 different translations of that. So in all that history, one of the things that it taught me and showed me is that this book was written politically and culturally for those time frames.
Sure. I had to figure out the Bible on my own too. I got introduced to a Bible when I was 5.
Yep. And I started questioning it when I was 9. And I walked away from it in my 30s. But it serves no purpose for me. I don't need any. I could live my entire life and not read another line from the Bible and be perfectly fine, and continue to have the great life that I've been having. It's an unnecessary book.
It's just like church. Like my little will always sign with me. I just couldn't sit in church as a kid. I don't know what it was. And then now I grew up and I found out it's never meant to be up in there for, bro.
Yeah, these little desert dwelling people have nothing to do with me. Their God has nothing to do with me either.
Right.
And every form of it has nothing to do with me.
I had a debate with my sister, like same dad, same father side, you know, because she's a former Christian. She says she don't claim to be a Christian no more, but she says she still serves Jesus Christ. And this is where it got real tricky for her. Now, that's why you laughing, because you know where it's about to go. It's like, yo, how can you say you're a Christian if you don't serve Jesus Christ? Like, that's literally the first word in Christianity. That's like saying, that's like me saying, like, you know, this is a little bit off subject, but it's the same logic. It's like saying, like, I'm a part of a blood gang, but I don't gang bang. I be around them, like, you know, I stack and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And my dad made a joke to her. He was like, man, you a Catholic, man. You ain't no Christian, then you a Catholic. And she got real offended by it. It's like, we're not trying to offend you. We just get to the point. Like, you didn't create that relationship to trying to, you know, be so hostile and defensive over. This is what these people teach, and this is what they go by. So if you claiming that and you believe in that, because that's how that was introduced and brought upon anyway through Christianity, how you say you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
So you can't claim it and still believe in a God. That don't work.
Yeah, people are trying to run from the title Christian or Christianity because the church has gotten a bad name. Christianity has gotten a bad name. It has a horrible history, and so now people don't want to. Oh, I'm spiritual, and I'm a follower of Christ. Dude, you still a Christian,
right? Still a Christian.
Yeah, they just don't want to be attached to the group anymore.
One thing I forget about a lot of religious people, they get real emotional when you talk about religion. It's like, yo, I'm not talking at you or about you. I'm speaking about the religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like you a bad person or you horrible. I'm pretty sure you do got good in your heart.
Yeah.
It's just like what you're practicing is like it's not meant for you if you want to have good in your heart. You know what I'm saying? This is a whole nother different ballgame.
Yeah, and just it. People can be good or bad in every religion. Doesn't matter. People are good. You're gonna have good and bad people no matter what. People are gonna do good things. People are gonna do bad things. But when you talk about their religion, they feel like it's a personal attack.
Yeah, they get real emotional.
And because you're talking about their God and you're talking about their you're talking about their afterlife. That's the primary thing.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. I was about to say that.
They
talk about their destiny.
Yeah, they want that afterlife so bad, which I don't. I think if a Christian actually read the Bible and understood what that afterlife is like, they probably wouldn't want to go, which is why pastors be making up bullshit afterlives for them. That's why I like to ask. That's why I asked the Hindu guy, the first one, what's your afterlife? Because
I ain't see that.
You got to describe it. I need to hear what it is. If it ain't, if it's a bunch of bullshit, if I'm just worshiping some deity all the damn time, I don't want to go there.
Listen, bro, like, we have the same questions with people. Like, what do you think is like when we not here anymore? Everybody get real cloudy in the brain. It's like, well, you have a God, you serve somebody. Probably this is for religious people that don't speak the word.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have somebody to serve, right? They give you an image, or they give you something to be like, yeah, this is gonna happen in afterlife. So it's like, how don't you know? And even when you know, it's like you just said, I gotta still serve somebody in afterlife too, like for eternity. That's crazy. I thought I was free.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of being.
Yeah. Now I gotta sit up here and worship this God all day and pray to this God all day and
nah, bro, for eternity.
Nah, that's slavery. That's like slavery.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that shit.
To die to do the same thing in a more brutal form. Like, I'm cool.
If I got free will, then I should have free will to, hey, I don't want to worship you. I want to go explore the cosmos or the dimensions or whatever. I want to go do whatever I decide I want to do. But if you're forcing me to have to worship you day and night, and they say that I'm going to want to do that, then you are curtailing my free will and making me do something I don't want to do. So, but I appreciate you, brother. Let me let some other people come up. All right, thanks, Bones. Thank you guys for the jewels. I didn't want to interrupt the man while you're speaking, but thank you for the jewels that people have been giving on YouTube. If you put a comment or a statement with your jewels, I would definitely read those and possibly discuss them, depending upon what the comment is. But, get more bang for your buck. This is a dumb statement. Coach, do you know that none of those religions you have up there are not in the Bible? What? Coach, do you know that none of those religions you have up there are not in the Bible? Of course they're not. They're different religions. Why would they be in the Bible if they're a different religion? That don't make sense. Unless you didn't write that well, so it's not like I was understanding it correctly either. Easy to understand, right? Okay. 2 people, they're not here right now. Yeah, why would you? So this graph up here is just showing the numbers of the population right now who believe in different religion and who don't believe. The nuns have been becoming the fastest growing group. More and more people walking away from religions than any other time frame, and especially they're walking away from Christianity. And people are doing this of their own free will. That's the difference of how Christianity grew, Islam grew. That's the difference between how these religions grew. People are walking away from with their own free will to choose to walk away, whereas those religions force people to become part of those religions, and that's why the religion grew. So if it wasn't for violence, I thought I saw Boss Lady up here. Hey, Boss Lady. If it wasn't for violence, these religions wouldn't be the religions that they are. If it wasn't for government intervention, these religions wouldn't be the religions that they are. Especially in none of them. You go back to when there were kings in different places in India. Those religions wouldn't have grown unless the king decided that that's what was going to be the religion of the people. So get me beyond some government forcing me to become part of this religion. And what you get is what we have now, where people are walking away from it of their own free will. Right? That's the whole thing. And this is an interesting thing that Brian is saying. Islam is only growing more than Christianity because of birth rates. And that's a true statement. Right now, Christianity, I think it's estimated around 2040, somewhere around there. It used to be 2050, but now I think it's down to 2040, that there will be more people on the planet who believe in Islam than believe in Christianity. And that's because the birth rates of Muslims is higher than the birth rate of Christians. That's still a forced type of religious conversion, because you have a child that's born. Does the child get a choice? From day one, you're indoctrinating that child into that religion. Day one. And if you're not doing it directly, it's indirect through the culture that they're living in. If I was born in Saudi Arabia, then and I still have the same mind that I have now, I would not be up here talking about deconstructing from Christianity. I'd be saying deconstructing from Islam. Most people don't get a choice to be one religion or not. Divina. I'm saying it right. Divina. Hello, Divina. Divina. Divina Deus. Divina Deus. I think she might have hit it by accident. We're gonna go with accident. You see, all these religions are just made up religions because at long time ago, people didn't understand nature. So then they made up a God. But the more and more we understand nature, the more and more people walk away from gods. Now people are trying to change the God narrative. Oh, it's just a spiritual being, a creator of all things, and so on and so forth. It's still something that you're just making up because there's a part of nature that you can't explain. And there will always be parts of nature that we will never be able to explain in our lifetime. I doubt if we will ever be able to know what actually comprised of the singularity and what caused the singularity to explode. I mean, the problem most likely is the buildup of energy, because energy can only be contained so far before it has to release itself. But you can't keep drawing in energy before it hits a breaking point. But we won't know. Most likely, we will never know in our lifetime. Maybe 1,000 years from now, some spacefaring humans will be able to figure that out. But we sure hell not. What religion do you? I don't practice any religion. There's no reason to practice a religion. If there was some way to prove that there was a God and that God said that I need to worship that God, then I would tell that God, you're not God. Or like Buddha said, if you're walking down the street and you meet God, kill him. So I would not, like the way I think about things, if a God required worship, you're not God. If you gotta force me to anything like that, you're not a God. You're just as petty as a human. Because there's no such thing as, I like when Christians, oh, you beat me to it. You beat me to it. Exactly. That's not unconditional loving. That's not an unconditional loving God. I don't think people, Christians, but know what an unconditional love means. Like when they say God has unconditional love for you, but yet the God has a whole bunch of conditions in order to love you. What the hell are you talking about? In order for this God to love you, to treat you great, in order for you to make it into heaven, in order for you to prosper in your life, to have good health, you got to have, there are conditions that you have to follow. You have to follow it. And this God has shown himself to force people. He forced Pharaoh. He said, he told Moses that before you even get to Egypt, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. And then he says that he hardens Pharaoh's heart 2 more times after that. And then is after that, Pharaoh hardens his own heart. He then tells them that I'm going to force the Egyptians to give you gold and shit. So just ask for some gold and stuff after your firstborn done died. And I'm going to force those people to give you your gold and stuff. He forced that dude he forced Jonah. This guy would do whatever, all this stuff. Reggie. Oh, okay, no problem. But this guy shows that he forces people in his little stories over and over time. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. I want you to go to Nineveh and convert those people, tell those people the great day of the Lord's reckoning is coming. Oh, you don't want to go, huh? I'm gonna throw you in the belly of a fish. Let you sit there for 3 days. Think about it for a little bit. Spit you out on the beach. Now, you got a choice. You can either go and tell the people of Nineveh that they better clean up their act, and I'm coming, I'm gonna destroy them, or not. He forced that man to go do that. But then the sad part about it, we have discovered the city of Nineveh. Nineveh has been discovered. In the entire history of Nineveh, during the time frame that Jonah supposedly would have lived, or during that whole ancient time, you know what Nineveh never did? They never converted over to Yahwehism. They never started worshiping Yahweh. So the whole story is just a bullshit story. It's a legend. It's a myth. It's just a mythological story. It's a fable. It's Aesop fables. Historically, Jonah never existed. Historically, Jonah never was in the belly of a fish. And historically, he was never thrown off a boat. Historically, he never went to Nineveh. Historically, he never sat up under a tree and he was he sat up there about to die. Historically, God didn't make a tree pop up so give him some shade. It's Aesop fables. That's all that story is a fable. Dylan.
Hello, lad.
Dylan?
Yes.
Okay. Are you over 21?
I'm 28.
All right. Are you a believer in the Bible?
I am, man.
Okay.
About Christian here. Actually, a youth pastor as well. One of the best jobs ever, man.
Okay. So why should I be Christian?
Why? Because Jesus.
That's not good enough.
I mean, Jesus was a real person who was crucified. The only source of why he was crucified comes from the Bible.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, that the only source is from the Bible. A book that has a ton of contradictions. It's a what?
Like, Jesus being crucified is as close as a fact as you're going to get in, like, history.
No, it's not.
Can you, all right, so you can use Google, DuckDuckGo, Bing, ChatGPT, and you can ask, do the vast majority of scholars and historians agree that Jesus was crucified? And they will say yes. I mean, you can disagree with, like, history, man, but I mean, it's like, it's as close to a historical fact as you're going to get.
No, first you have to prove Jesus. Trust me, I have.
Okay, and it says yes,
As-
Jesus was real and he was crucified.
I understand that a lot of scholars do think that Jesus was a real historical person, and many of them agree that he probably was crucified. That does not
And the
mean,
only-
but hold on,
I'm sorry.
but that does,
I'm sorry.
but that does not mean that he was the son of God. That does not mean that he did all these miracles. It does not mean that he rose up and went into the heavens.
But the only source that explains why he was crucified comes from the Gospels. The only outside source comes around 95 AD, which happens after every single other Gospel was written. And that is the writing of Josephus, and that even paraphrases the Gospels.
Except for the fact that the writings of Josephus that most Christians hang their hat on is a forgery.
I don't personally know. I'm just saying that's what like an atheist say.
Well, that's what who?
Atheists say a lot. That the like outside writing that would be a better standard would be Josephus, but even that they say is not actually authentic. So it's not a good argument for
Yeah,
atheists.
because it's not.
That's what I'm saying is the Gospels are the only source then.
But even the Gospels have contradictions in it as far as his resurrection, his crucifixion.
But the Gospels explain how Jesus was crucified, correct?
I mean, the
He
Odyssey,
was crucified because
the-
he was the Son of God.
the Iliad explains how I forgot his name. Achilles died. But does that make it real?
But the only source of why Jesus was crucified comes from the Gospels. And this is us, again, as close as a fact as you're going to get in history.
Well, see that. What do you mean? Let me clarify, because maybe I'm not understanding what you mean. When you say as close as you're going to get in history, are you meaning that it's proof, or are you saying that based on anything in history, that's going to tell you the story?
So nothing in the ancient world can be like considered a fact because I mean everything is just hearsay. But as far as the crucifixion of Jesus, it's as close to a fact as you're going to get in the ancient world. That's what I mean.
Nah, I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I mean, again, bro, just ask historians. Like, I mean, I'm not a historian, but I believe historians.
Yeah, but just because historians and if they're an academic historian who is still teaching at a seminary or is still up under some organization that requires you to say that, then those historians I take with a grain of salt.
Again, across the board, every single historian scholar says that Jesus was like crucified.
Piece of advice.
What's up?
You use finite terms like all, every.
Yeah.
I would not use those terms.
That's majority. I apologize.
Yeah, I wouldn't use finite terms because that invites me to be able to say that I know not all of them. And now we're splitting hairs over that statement.
Then I would say 99.9% of historians and scholars would like agree that Jesus was real and he was crucified. But like what I'm saying is, and it's something that I've asked atheists now, is why is the Bible the only explanation of why he was crucified? And then if you like say that, then like you cannot believe John 5 and not believe John 6 because like John 5 is whenever Jesus, or sorry, you cannot believe John 6 and not believe John 5 because John 5 is whenever Jesus heals the man at the pool, and then John 6 is one of the main reasons why Jesus was actually crucified because he went into the Jewish nation and said, "Hey, I am God in flesh," essentially. I am him.
Okay.
Which is the reason why he was crucified. So how are you just going to say that John 5 didn't happen, but then John 6 happened literally right after that, like probably like a day after that, if that.
Okay. So the first thing is you said that about the Gospels, and the thing about the Gospels, that's kind of a circular statement. That's like me saying that, well, Marvel Comics is the only thing that shows that Captain America helped out during 9/11. Okay.
Yes, but like
it's secular. It's secular. It doesn't really that actually inhibits your statement, your thought process for me, because it's like, okay, that's the only place that it talks about it, and I got to believe that in order to accept it as facts. But it takes me to believe in it first, and I have a whole bunch of problems with the books themselves because of all the contradictions within them. So that's secular reasoning. And then as far as John 5, So John 5, that's the healing of the man in the pool of Bethesda.
Yep.
Right?
And John 6 is whenever Jesus goes and talks to the Jewish nation, basically saying, I am the bread of life.
Okay.
Or,
So
I am God.
to me, neither one of them have anything to do with the other. And here's why. John 5 is based on a common theme of what happened at the pool of Asclepius, which Asclepius was a Roman god of healing. And it's just a common story told that has nothing to do with him going into the temple and flipping and saying that he's the Messiah or Son of God. That has nothing to do with it. One doesn't connect to the other to create some level of belief or
But
facts.
What does it say at the end of John 5? He goes away and he goes and talks to the Jewish nations, like happens right after the healing of the pool of Bethesda.
Okay.
So again, you can say that John 6 is real, but then you how are you going to say that John 5 is not real?
Okay.
And really, that is the absolute prequel to like John 6.
Well, I mean, it's like writing any story. We can say that 9/11 is real, but then Captain America went right in there right
Again,
after.
that's comics. Like
And the-
honestly, that's fiction.
Okay.
Jesus is not fiction.
Well,
He's
see,
a real person.
there is a difference.
He was crucified.
It is fiction. But even if you had a real person,
Again, you can disagree with like history, man. But
let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question. Do you believe that Alexander the Greek existed?
I do.
Do you think that he was a demigod?
He could be.
He could be. So he was born, his mother had sex with a god, and he was born as a demigod.
I mean, by like a god, what do you mean? Do you mean like God? Like I believe in like a God that's mentioned.
What, he has the
in
same.
Bible, such as like
She has a similar story to Mary. She had sex with a god, and he was born.
I probably wouldn't believe that now.
But you believe that he existed. Why not believe his entire story then?
Of Alexander the Great.
Yeah. Why not believe his entire story if you believe he
There's two
existed?
different kind of things because Jesus was crucified and he did resurrect.
That doesn't matter. If you believe,
It kind of does matter.
no.
I don't know.
If you believe that Alexander existed, then his whole story should be true. It doesn't matter how Alexander died or what he died for or the reasons he died. The fact that you believe he was a historical figure, according to his history, he was born divine.
What is the main mission of Jesus? And what is the main mission of
Has nothing to do with the statement.
It does matter, man. I mean,
It matters not.
what is the mission of Jesus? That he is the what? The way, the truth, and the life, correct?
So was Horace. Horace said that he was the way, the truth, and the light.
So he was saying that he was the creator of the world.
No, Horace is the son of the God of heaven.
Okay, so then he's not the creator of the world.
No,
Jesus is God in flesh,
his
literally.
grandfather created created the whole world. So he's the grandson of the creator.
So then it's two different things then, man. Jesus is God in flesh. That's who Jesus is.
That's according to John, but no.
That's according to all the
That's
Gospels,
according.
man.
Well, let me rephrase. That's according to belief.
But I mean, everything is beliefs. Can you tell me anything in your life that you believe that is not based off beliefs? It's like there's nothing. Everything that you learn from the age of 0 to like however old you are now, everything is beliefs.
See, there you
Believe
go.
what I believe too.
There you go with them.
Everything is beliefs,
No,
bro.
no, there you go with them finites. Because here's the thing.
Well,
My
tell me
my-
something.
my
Everything
brother-
is not a belief.
my brother is not a belief. My brother is a factual person who is my brother.
Well, that's if you. Well, that gets into another thing, which is why in the world were we given reality the way that we can understand it? Like that's so crazy, man. The fact that we can actually understand reality
No,
with our
no,
eyes.
hold on.
and our mind is crazy.
You
And you think that all came from just nothingness?
no.
Wow, bro.
Where do you? Okay, so there's a misconception that many believers have about people who don't believe. I don't think that everything came from nothingness. There's no such thing as nothingness. Y'all need to stop saying that.
So then what?
No one who doesn't believe thinks that. Most people who don't believe don't think that everything came from nothingness.
I do, bro. I'm telling you, trust me. I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of like atheists.
Okay.
It's either three things.
You're talking to
They
one
say,
now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or they say that they believe in a everlasting universe, which like that falls apart pretty easily. Or they believe that like everything came from the universe.
Okay,
But
so
then, like,
that's
whenever
still
we
not
talk about
nothingness.
those things,
That's still not nothingness.
yes, but the universe, but like then whenever I ask them, is the universe magical? They say no because something had to be created before the Big Bang to like create the process behind it, and then that's magical.
That's not
So
magical.
it comes from nothing.
That's not magical. That's not nothingness.
What was eternal then?
Just the universe in itself is eternal as far as we can know. But beyond that, we do get to a point. See, here's the problem that the difference between us. I don't have a problem saying I don't know what was here before what we call the Big Bang. I don't know what caused the singularity to explode. Don't know. But I'm not saying I don't have to say that a creative, intelligent mind did it.
That's fine.
Because I don't have any proof of that.
Like, I believe that God is the creator. Because to me, that makes the most logical sense.
Okay, it actually makes the most, to you, it makes the most logical sense. To me, it makes the most illogical sense.
Well, but like your answer is I don't know. Like
Yeah.
that's not an answer. Like,
That is an answer.
Question in the world.
Let me ask you a question. Do you
Like,
know?
it matters,
Let me ask you a question. Do you know my address?
I don't, bro.
You don't know, right?
No.
So how is that answer a problem?
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I do not know the answer.
So there's
So, like,
no,
I'm
so
saying,
there's
I
nothing
don't
wrong
know
with saying
is
I don't
that
know.
You don't want to answer the question.
Excuse me.
It's two it is two different I don't knows. What you asked me is something that does have the answer to it. What that you know the answer to, correct? Like there's an actual answer behind it.
Yep.
But like what you asked me about, or what you answered regarding the origins of the universe, there is an answer out there, but like it could be anything.
Yeah.
So, like anyone's belief is like valid. Like what I'm saying.
Anyone's
is
belief is like you kind of
logical sense
you blink for a
based
second.
on what we're doing.
Okay, so I think I still understand what you meant with the context of everything else. And I think you're phrasing or contemplating when I answer the question of I don't know before the Big Bang or the singularity, what caused it, as some type of non-answer. But it's the same as you not knowing my address. I don't know. No one right now that we can communicate with knows, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something that we're saying there was nothing that created it. You just simply don't know, but there is an answer, but it's an unknown answer. But it doesn't open the door for magical beings to be the creative mind behind it from any religion.
But the thing is that it could be, and to me and a lot of people in the world and a lot of people in like history and the founder of science itself believes that God is real. But man, I gotta get going though. But it was a great.
Appreciate you coming up, Dylan.
See you, bud.
See you. And I like how they like to say, well, the founder of science, of this science or that science, they believe in a God. That doesn't validate their God. People act like historians have never been wrong, or that scientists have never been wrong. Historians and scientists have been wrong a lot. That's the beauty of history and science. You're open to finding new information, to being able to accept new information that may counter whatever you was previously believing in. Isaiah,
What's good, man?
how you doing? Are you over 21?
I'm well.
Good.
I'm good. How are you? Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yep.
You're over 21, right? All right. And are you a believer in the Bible, or?
I believe in Jesus Christ. Yes.
Okay. So why should I become a Christian?
I would love to ask. I would love to know what's your answer. Why should the question that you asked is why should I was very intrigued by that question. Be honest. When you asked why should I be a Christian, I was like, okay. And then I also saw that your handle is deconstructing. What is it called?
Deconstructing Christianity.
Oh, deconstructing Christ.
Well, deconstructing Christianity. It just doesn't show you the whole thing.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Why? So I want to ask, like, what? When you say deconstructing Christianity, what do you mean by that? Like, is it the whole Christianity? Is it a part of it? Is there something that you came across and it's like, oh, you know what? Nah, this is it for me. I need to deconstruct this.
No.
Or it's like, tell me.
So
yeah, I want to know.
So Christians been hijacking the people who are walking away from the title of Christianity, the religion, the structured religion of Christianity. I've noticed in the last like 7-8 years, Christians have been hijacking the term that originally meant someone who stripped away all their Christianity and is now free of Christianity. But a lot of Christians now are saying, "Oh, I'm deconstructing Christianity to reconstruct it into the proper way to worship Jesus and so on and so forth, or understand the Bible." So there's some co-opting going. I'm still with the original back 15 years ago, at least 15 years ago for me. And when I first picked up this handle, it meant I stripped away, like you deconstruct a chicken, you strip it down to the bones. I stripped away all of it to see it for what it is and walked away from it.
So what conclusion did you come to with that? Like,
That it's all a myth.
That was presented to you at first. What was Christianity presented to you as first? Then after you deconstructed it, what did you come to the conclusion?
I mean, it was presented as I grew up. I grew up in a Baptist church, then a Methodist church, then non-denominational churches. But I studied. Then I went and studied the Bible. But in all of that time, even when I was part of those churches, I didn't necessarily go with the doctrine of the church. I thought for myself, and then I researched and I studied what the Bible says. I researched the history and the culture around it at the different time frames. And at the end of the day, I recognized it was just a cultural book written by these little desert dwellers that got pushed up into the Romans, and then the Romans spread it, and then the Europeans, and conquered with it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I can see that. That does make sense.
Yeah.
That's why you came to that. Are you familiar with the Apostles' Doctrine?
No.
Not the denomination. Just the Apostles' Doctrine and what that means.
Know what that
Like
means?
in Acts 2:42. Okay, when Acts 2:42 says that the believers continue steadfastly in the Apostles' Doctrine with prayers, fellowship, and the breaking of bread. So the Apostles' Doctrine was basically like, doctrine just means the practices or the set of beliefs centered around a truth. So when it says Apostles' Doctrine, it's basically saying that the 12 apostles had a doctrine. Those same 12 apostles that walked with Jesus Christ were the same apostles that taught around the person of Jesus Christ after spending 3 years with him in his ministry, or while he walked on the earth. And even after he had risen from the dead and it ascended. So the New Testament is it's mainly written by the apostles, but they're really set of doctrines, right? They set a set of doctrines that is built after really the Torah, because you have the Old Testament.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the Old Testament?
Yeah, I am, but so let me stop you for a second. One of the issues that I have with the Bible is that none of the apostles most likely existed. None of them existed, as far as I can tell, and none of them wrote anything. So,
Why is it?
because there's
Why do you
no,
believe that?
well, the evidence doesn't point to them being able to write in perfect Koine Greek as it was written. The contradictions in the writing, at the time frame that the writings would have been written, they most likely did not write them. So, no, I don't think any of those apostles actually existed.
That's a very interesting conclusion that you got.
Yeah.
And even just the fact that you brought up the whole coin, the Greek, how they didn't write it. And there has been, a lot of research. Historians have artifacts, some evidence around, who wrote what. Book of Mark was not written by Peter, but they said that Peter was the mind behind it, while Mark himself was actually the writer. Then you have Paul, who is also a very brilliant man. Understood, he could speak several languages.
Yeah, I don't think Paul existed at all.
He would travel to, you don't believe Paul, he would travel all over the place. But you don't believe Paul that existed at all?
No, No, I think there's a good possibility that Paul's letters are actually letters written by Marcion and not by Paul. You don't even have the Marcion.
Who's that? Who's Marcion?
So one of the biggest forms of Christianity in the early to mid 2nd century was a dude named Marcion, and he's the one who first did the first canon of a Bible. He did the first canon of that would be a Christian canon. The gospel, he only had a gospel. He had the Gospel of Marcion, which later becomes the Gospel of Luke, and then he has the first 6 or 7 letters of Paul, and that's it. No Old Testament at all, and no Book of Revelations, none of that. So that was the first canon, and none of Paul's letters. There's no evidence of Paul's letters existing prior to Marcion putting these letters that are given over to Paul until Marcion puts together his canon.
Okay, how do you spell Marcion?
Marcion.
Okay, I'm just curious. This conversation, I'm actually writing these things down. So I'm very intrigued by your thoughts and how you're deconstructing. I think when I talk to people who are deconstructing Christianity or whatever the beliefs are, I think it's not all the same. Like not everybody has the same reason why they're deconstructing. So that's why I had asked you first, like why are you deconstructing Christianity? You know what I'm saying? So this does help me, and also I'm just gathering some, you're giving me some information that I don't know, and I think I can, be on this call and kind of help me to understand where you're coming from and all that stuff. But yeah. So that's an interesting thought. I don't really have much to say in regards to like, or much of a challenge other than the fact that I would ask, I would just challenge you. I would challenge you this. I would challenge you to just do some more research in regards to the existence of the letters, the artifacts, where it is traced back. I understand you got the Marcion. I understand you probably like, no, I already did that, and now you ask me to do something that's like that already done, and I get that.
I get that. I get that constantly. I get that constantly because people have a tendency that when you disagree with them, that they want to say, "Oh, you just need to go and research some more. You need to research some more." And really, what they're saying is, you just need to believe what I believe, and then you can stop researching. But until you believe what I believe, keep researching. We're not recognizing that it is the constant research for over 30 years as to why I walked away. And the research still continues. I don't stop researching just because I am in this position that I'm in now. I'm only 54. I still got probably 100 years of researching ahead of me. And the beauty of it is that we find more and more stuff every year. There's always more things that archaeologists dig up, or that just more shit that we keep finding. And so then I study and research the things that we find.
Okay, cool. I would just say, man, like just what I'm saying, that's actually not my intention. My aim is not to get you to believe. Obviously, when it says why should I be a Christian, I kind of laughed because I'm like, this dude's trying to. I can see how you could try to rage me Christians who are all fire and zealous and all that stuff. And I am a believer still, but I'm like, no, I just want to have a conversation. And I will give you my thoughts. I think everybody is on their own journey to accumulate knowledge. I do think that there is a difference between seeking knowledge and seeking truth. And so I think that hopefully, man, the discovery for you will be that you'll discover truth, and that truth would radically change how you see everything.
Let me help you out with something. That's some people. I'm not going to. I choose not to, but some people will find what you just said insulting. Okay. Because when a person, no, it's actually when you communicate with someone, it's on you to communicate your meaning, and if that is your meaning, then that's what it is. because I'm an overly considerate person, right? So I give people the benefit of the doubt when I shouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt, and a whole bunch of other things that deals with consideration. When you tell someone, hopefully you will figure out the truth, you're telling them that everything that you have studied, everything that you know is not truth. But the difference is,
about myself too. Truth is eternal.
But that difference is I walked away from it because I found out certain truths.
Yeah, see, I think we took what I said and it led you to a place of offense. What I was actually saying that
I'm not offended. I'm just telling you how other people will take it. I'm not offended personally.
What I was communicating was, if you want to be a seeker of truth, that's going to be a lifelong thing.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lifelong thing. So what I'm telling you is that, hey, hopefully you continue. That's like my hope. I'm not gonna say, oh, I hope that you come into a lie or say whatever. I'm just being positive, really. So I hear what you said. I also love Lily 11. You know, you come up here and say something too. There's some people that were saying, talking some stuff, but hey man, it's good talking to you, man. I do appreciate hearing you out. Just want to know your thoughts.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Very intrigued.
All right.
Yeah.
I got a couple of YouTube and Facebookers who came on before the other TikTokers. So let's get them, those two on. I just still do it one at a time. IG, you've been waiting. IG, you're gonna get kicked to the curb. IG must be working. We're gonna Dark Light. Turn your microphone on.
What up, Coach Renz? How's it going, bro?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Just diving into my delirium. It's been a while since I came on. I just wanted to come on and say hi. See how you're doing, man.
I'm doing great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for a Christian to tell me what is the benefit. Maybe I should have put what is the benefit of being a Christian instead of saying why should I be Christian. I figured that would lead into that, but I haven't got anybody to tell me what would be the greatest reason and benefit for me to be a Christian.
Well, I was kind of wanting to troll and role play a little bit and come on here and act like I was a Christian, but you already know I ain't.
I know who you are, so I'm not gonna fall for that one.
Yeah,
you have to change your name and not show me a picture and not turn your camera on because I'm gonna know who you are.
Well, I just been working on my own shit. You know, I'm writing a book because essentially all theology is just pulling shit out your ass. But I'm one of the few theists that's honest about that. And to all my theist fellows listening out there, let's just be honest about it, y'all. You know, we believe in imaginary friends. We pull bullshit out of our ass, except for at least I pull shit out of my own ass instead of y'all pulling shit out of someone's asses that was 2,000 years ago that might not have even existed.
That's true. I pull shit out of my ass, but when I do, I will later tell the person the truth. Like I told my children that when it rains real hard, there's tens of thousands of birds in the air spitting on me because them jokers will play in the rain all the time. Now, to be honest, I initially got them started playing in the rain, but then you know how kids are. They don't know when to stop. You know, like I don't know if you was here when the Hindu guy was on here talking about some being in heaven is just playing all the time. After a while playing, I'm tired of playing. So, but I ain't want to go there with him. So yeah. I told my kids that when they was kids, just to get them to stop playing in the rain. As they got older, I told them, I said, yeah, I just told y'all that bullshit just so y'all get out the rain. There's no birds up there.
Yeah, as long as you're honest about the bullshit you're pulling out your ass, it's all good. It's when you're going around lying and say, no, I didn't pull it out my ass. Like God gave that right to me, you know, like it's like, no, you invented your God and then pulled it out of your God's ass. Let's just be honest about it.
Pretty much. Your God wouldn't exist if people didn't believe it. That's why all the ancient religions that have died, they died because no one believed in them anymore.
Exactly. There is no more humans to lend their power to that idea of that particular God.
Yeah. And the graveyard of gods will continue to grow, because at some point the Abrahamic gods will enter that graveyard themselves, and there will be no one will believe in those guys either. It may be 1,000 years from now, but at some point, some of the religions that's listed up here will not exist anymore.
There will be no human left to carry the torch for that particular ideology, and it will succumb to the sands of time, just like everything else.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I just came on to shout you out, homie. I was listening to you. I hope you're doing good, man.
Appreciate you. I'm doing great. Doing fantastic.
Cool, man. Keep rocking with it, Holmes.
All right. Have a good one, man. IG, you got your life together? It may be 1,000 years from now. See? IG, he tripping. Religions that's listed up here. IG.
There will be no human left to carry the torch for that particular ideology, and it will
IG, stop listening to the damn recording. Exactly. And listen to your phone.
All right, well, I just came on to shout you out, homie. I was
Oh,
listening to you. I hope you're doing good, man.
Appreciate it. I'm doing great. Doing fantastic.
Cool,
He got me
man.
on his
Keep
TV.
rocking with the Holmes.
And so there's a delay on YouTube. And he don't realize that he's on.
Hello.
You've been on for like a whole minute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello?
IG,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear y'all. This is some bullshit. Hold on.
Turn the TV
Hello?
on.
Hold on. Let me reset my earplugs, y'all. Hold on. This is what I believe in Jesus and shit. This is what the fuck happens. You see how your life goes all into disorder? Hold on. Let me see now. Hold on, y'all.
Come on, Elite Thunder. You're coming
Hello?
on, but you're ripping off.
That's the craziest shit. Okay, hold on. I mean, everything trying to stop. I might have to start believing in. See, that's a benefit because I can't hear y'all.
That's because
I can't hear nothing y'all saying. I'm gonna leave out and come right back. I can't hear you.
All right, I'm gonna give you one more shot, Joker. You know it's gonna be some foolishness. For those who are accustomed, they know IG who he is. That he always brings some good bullshit. I like when these keyboard warriors be bragging. Oh, if I come on, I'm bringing the thunder. Come on, simple. You're coming on, but you're limping off.
All right. What about now? Can y'all hear me now?
We could always hear you.
I couldn't fucking hear you, baby. See, that's, I'm giving my life back over to Christ. So my internet section, I believe God that, the God of man that created the internet, because y'all know the same God who provided the internet provided the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, why should I be Christian? I'm gonna be kind of pedantic, but kind of half serious. But
look at me. Speak up. Quit looking away. Yeah, just every time you look away, your voice goes muffled.
Hold on. Now I don't know why this.
Just put the microphone closer to your face.
Closer to my face, you said. Hold on. Is this?
That's fine. Just go ahead and say what you're gonna say. Go ahead. I just wanted it to be louder, but go ahead.
Now my technology is working, y'all. See.
Okay, now you.
So okay. So now what I was gonna say is that yes, there are benefits. Why should I be Christian? Okay, for starters, you have the protection of the state religion. You won't be a heathen by definition, because if you are practicing the spiritual system of Judah Christianity, that does give you some state and sociology and cultural fucking exceptions, right? It also gives you more social and business capital as well, because most of the money in the politics is tied up with the religious affiliation. So there are very much mortal reasons systematically why I mean, that's really the real true tea as to why most people are Christian. Like they, at least the white chocolate who was just on here, at least he was honest enough to say that, hey, this is some fairy tales. But the parts of where it is communal, where it is tribal, where it gives you you get to feel like you're fucking Clark Kent and you're the Kryptonians, or you get to feel like you're the Saiyans in Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
You
'Cause
know, so
you're right. Because
so
if I was on here being Christian and utilizing the historical things that I know and just flipping them to make it fit Christianity, misconstruing them,
right.
it's social media wise.
Huh.
I would have way more views. I would get sponsorships. I would make way more money if I was Christian.
If
I
I
would.
would have just, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, I mean, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that. Oh yeah, babe, I'm on my glass of wine today. If when I was, what kind of conflicted me is that because I used to really play the keyboard and sing. I play every now and again, but I used to really, play and sing and gig and stuff like that. And then I noticed when I begin to deconstruct, even while I'm playing the music, I am so disconnected from what is going on. Like I'm not, everybody else is in the spirit, and I'm sitting up here, fucking around with these chords looking like this some bullshit. And these niggas are still having the same, but I realized they still having the same emotional response. And then I kind of saw like, wait a minute, this ain't just the big mysterious boogie spirit thing that because they would have led me to believe that, oh, if you gay, your spirit gonna make everybody gay, and that's definitely not true because got plenty of y'all cheating on y'all wives and fucking girls in here, and I ain't want to fuck a bitch yet since been around y'all. So we know spirit transfer don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that it's the intention behind what everyone's coming together for too, and I had to being able to accept that part of it. So if I would have chose to just to shut the fuck up and just play the politics and being in the culture of the music, oh, I'd have a completely different lifestyle.
You would. But you know what's a great thing, though? I got to say this. When I first started, well, let me rephrase it. I would have walked away from Christianity at probably a decade sooner if the internet was around a decade sooner than it was around in the way that it is now. Meaning that one of the reasons in my 20s that I didn't walk away from Christianity is because in my 20s, there was no community. You had to be Christian. You couldn't reach, there were no message boards or YouTubes and, all that kind of stuff that you could find other people and see that you're not by yourself. So part of it being, it kind of forces you to stay with it longer than you really would want to, because society looks down on you when you're not. Because I saw how atheists were being treated in the 80s and 90s, and I didn't want to be treated that way.
It's the same reason why people don't come out the closet and they stay on the DL, because they can see how openly feminine or flamboyant gays are treated, or the perception of so.
Ooh, that's a t-shirt. Coming out the closet of Christianity.
Hey, the kneel in secret prayer.
Don't be mad when y'all see me with a shirt that say, and I tell y'all where to go buy it. Coming out the closet of Christianity.
Hey, I like it.
And on the back, it's gonna say free to be, and then it'll say free to be me.
Give me a 2X. You heard me? I need a 2X. About two of them bitches. But yeah, no, but really seriously, when I think about, why should I be a Christian? I mean, there are plenty of, it's so ironic that they have a doctrine that says that the weapon of their warfare, they are not carnal. But the irony is everything about the institution of your religion is very fucking mortal. It's very mortal in antiquity. And I think just like when I heard that young man that was the caller, and you can hear where people want to really believe, even outside of Christianity, that they want to really feel and exist where what they think that they think what they think is what the creator thinks, what
Yeah.
they feel until like they and as long as it can be materialized through that, most people have a hard time because so far of everything I've heard, that's why I'm very careful with calling Christians completely stupid. No, they're not really stupid. It's just that it's ingenious. Even their own Bible tells them, or what is it, when he says that they have crafted counsel against thy people and have consulted against thy hidden ones with all of this tribalistic ass shit. It's something that is very institutional. So I think as long as we can get people to see the mortality. So yes, you are a Christian, bitch, because it lines up with your politics. You are a Christian. Think about all of the pastors and everything, right? Who wants to hear that the base of what's your cost of living, clergymen, church musicians, ushers, because it has an actual economic material effect. This is one of the biggest reasons why people can't disassociate.
Yeah, yeah. It's there are a lot of people that I know of who are in those situations where if they disassociated with Christianity, they would lose their livelihood, and so they stay with it. And like, if I was I get coaching clients now, but I've lost coaching clients because I wasn't Christian, right? Or when I owned my gym, if I had personified in my gym that I wasn't Christian, I probably would have lost a lot of clients when I owned the gym. It is more difficult to not be Christian, but I still wouldn't choose it for those reasons, because I have not suffered, because I realize I can go out and do and make and create and still take care of my family, still take and even now my kids are grown, still take care of my grown ass kids sometimes. And I don't have to hold on to a religion in order to survive, or no, I don't believe in surviving in order to thrive. Right.
Baby, I thrive the most coming up out of it.
And mostly I thrive in my peace. My peace.
Oof.
I mean, it ain't always about money and houses and cars and all that kind of stuff, but just in my peace, my day-to-day peace, just walking my life, not having to look at people and think that I gotta save them from some imaginary lake of fire.
Save myself from a constant threat. And then when people reaffirm certain things to you, like they do to queer people and women in this culture, I tell people all the time, it's like, it would be so great if could just wait till I die to figure this shit out. No, 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 no. That's why the thought of going, see, people crack me up. They be like, oh, well, bitch, you ain't gonna make it to heaven. Honey, the earth visit was more than enough. I don't want to do eternity with you here. What the fuck makes you think I want to go to heaven or hell with any of you bitches?
Yeah.
That's not a, and I've been saying that. People just not, I've been saying that for the last 4 or 5 years. I'm like, you gotta be out your rabbit ass. I had to do giving, I've had peace in this life from separating myself. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm like you and I both. There are people who are Christian that know where we stand, but at the same time, I can't look at you through the exception. I have to see the system through the rule, and you have to know where I stand. In order for us to coexist, in order for us to coexist, you have to be able to know, like, this is where I stand 10 toes and where I have the problems and issue and where it is. I'm not trying to force you, but if we're going to be in a space of coexistence, there's not going to be the you trying to convert me, but we're very much clear on where we both stand.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between you and I, though, is I'm not going to pretend there isn't a power dynamic, because what you believe comes with an institution. What you believe comes with the blacking of a militia. What you believe has more consequences on this earth right now. It has real life. And this is why you're in that constant genjutsu bullshit psychosis. This is why I get it. I get it, because it is tied to how you yet live. So that's why they know it's a living word. You should see it in the eyes and shit be bucking crazy. Yeah. It's a living word, baby. And it's a living word because it's instituted in your livelihood. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
plenty of reasons to be Christian. You got all type of beliefs and all type of clubs. It's very economic, man. Yeah, that's I don't I'm surprised to see the reasons why the Christians who came up here couldn't just say that because that would really be too honest.
Yeah, they can't say that.
They
I knew that it was going to take somebody who doesn't believe in Christianity to get to those points.
yeah.
Because a Christian is not going to come on here and say that, or a reason to be Christian is because of the social advantages, economic advantages. They're not going to say that. Like, if I ran for president right now, I would most likely, I'm not going to get, people are not, I can have the best policies
Yep.
that help the most people, but people will not vote for me because I'm not Christian.
When I'm gonna say this and be quiet. When I was a very sharp and in tune musician, I give a damn about my craft. I love all forms of music, every style. So even as I was deconstructing, it didn't hurt me, bitch, to sing about Jesus and them slap them nasty ass chords on there. And I had more of a passion because I'm like, you know what? I studied a little classical music. I can teach my people how to breathe and run scales and read music and make things to where I give more of a damn about the praise of the musical presentation of your God, bitch, than you do. I gave more of a, and it was so unfortunate. In San Antonio, you're in the worst place where I really went through it too. But you a black straight man, so it'll definitely be different for you than it is for me. But I'm telling you that that was them people didn't give a fuck about how skilled and talented I was. If you didn't believe exactly what they believe or the same type of doctrine, I was like, okay, it don't matter that I went to HBCU, I went to St. Philip's. I'm trying to give you that education. I'm trying to extend that to you instead of going where I can get paid 2 and 3 times as much to do hymns and cadences and shit.
Yeah, San Antonio is very much a Christian oriented city. And
Hmm.
I do take in consideration in doing business here that this part of me cannot be at the forefront. Like I can't be at the forefront of it for the most part. So there's something I'm working on right now. There's 2 things that I'm working on right now. But I know that the way I did it in Atlanta, where I was the face of it, that shit ain't gonna work here in San Antonio.
I mean, for race, not just for that, and for race, it ain't gonna work either.
I don't. I keep hearing this from all these people here, but I've been here for almost 2 years, and I don't see that. I don't see
That's
the
good.
racial issue that people
Well,
talk about.
I mean, it's just you because it ain't none of my business. But depends on what side of town you are. That would definitely be the case.
I'm in the
That
place
don't
where I live in the place where they say is one of the most racist places in San Antonio, and I have yet to have any issues.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too, and there's a profiling system that happens. Unfortunately, I didn't start to get profiled until after I lived there for 5, 6, because I was there half my life. You know what I'm saying? When Katrina hit, that's why I ended up. So I didn't really have to start to deal with it. I'm not saying that's gonna be your situation at all,
It's
but
not.
I didn't. I had to deal more with the gay shit. With the anti-gay shit. People didn't get the black folks didn't care. Either here or there. I'm glad that you have a different experience. But then I know a lot of my people that's from there trying to get to where you from. But I think that's a natural reaction though, because if you are anchored in a place for so many or at least a couple of generations, or that's where you're from or you're native from, I think that's a natural response to want to get away from that. No matter how famous. Like people say New Orleans, bitch, I'd never move. Well, you deal with all of that insurance fraud and all of them hurricanes and
Yeah,
all that there enough times, bitch, you might change your mind.
yeah, I couldn't live that either. But let me let some other people get up here
All right, y'all, later.
later. That joker there. I don't know. I think San Antonio is fantastic. I had a good time here in San Antonio. And one of the things is I have the expectancy of greatness wherever I am. When people found out where I was putting my cigar lounge in Atlanta, they was like, oh, you're going to deal with the racism. Yeah, Stone Mountain was a sundown town when I was growing up. But It wasn't by the time I got there. Let's see if some of these people, for those who are wanting to come on, okay, so none of these people are there right now. You're gonna have to be patient because I only do one person at a time. You think I don't do the 50, 11 people talking at the same time. I can't even, like, some of my favorite podcasters, I can't listen to them. But for maybe like 10 minutes because they got like 9 people on there, and that shit is annoying. They yelling and talking over each other and just sound like a whole bunch of fucking chickens in a coop. Like, I would love to sit and listen to, like, if you have never, like, Thinker, I think Thinker is great. I think Flush Scudo is great. But I hate the fact that they have like multiple people on their channels at the same time. And I know why they do it, but it just, and a lot of them are moderators that they have on there, but I just, it's annoying to me. It's annoying. Oh, thank you, Miss Fifi. All them comments, over 200 comments. And thank you everybody who gave flowers and whatnot on TikTok. Appreciate those. Appreciate the gifts. So if you come on, if you're not on, you just got to be patient. And I know people want to come on when they hear things from other people. And I give you your chance if you're just patient. But I'm just not going to have multiple people on here at the same time. Just not how I do things. So, but yeah, there are, walking away from religions in any city, in any country that's dominated by a religion is not going to be a cakewalk. You're going to have to go through some shit, deal with some bullshit. But on the flip side of that, life becomes easier. Your personal life, your intimate life with yourself becomes more peaceful. You don't have to, a lot of the worry and stress goes away. You're not stressing about, did I sin or did I not sin? You ain't even worried about those kinds of things. But all the while, if you actually believed in the Bible, most of y'all are sinning all the time by wearing mixed linen. You need to stop wearing them mixed linen. But, there are some things, like I was saying to IG, there's some business, when I look into business ventures, certain ones I have to look at differently, because I know that just by saying that, hey, I'm not a Christian, that would hurt your business. This is the reason why some people promote that they're Christian. This is a Christian-based business. It's the same reason that I would say this is a veteran business. You know that you get certain willingness of people to support your business if you are part of a certain group. It's a sad thing because you can have the best product or service, but people won't choose it simply because you don't believe in their fairy tale, in their mythos. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you were to go to Israel and you're living in the state of Israel and you open up a Christian business, you're not going to be given the same availability as a person who's Jewish. You're just not. It's a messed up world. You go there, you go through the Muslim markets in Jerusalem. It is largely supported by Muslims and Christian tourists. You might see a Jewish person walking through it. You'll see a Jewish person walking through it because the one that I'm talking about ends at the old wall on their way to the Wailing Wall. So you'll see Jewish people walking through it, but they won't support those businesses, and they can have a better price, better product, but they're going to walk right by it because they're Jewish and those vendors are Muslim. And I think that's just stupid, but that's people. That's just people. So, but I wouldn't give up and become Christian. And if y'all didn't catch it, IG was being a little sarcastic about it. He's not saying that it's better to be Christian. Trust me. IG, if you've been on this channel long enough, you should know IG was not saying that he thinks it's better to be Christian. Yeah, so that joker, come on. I think IG will become straight before he becomes Christian. You know that ain't gonna happen. But he becomes straight before he become Christian. So some of y'all might have I saw, and not just Mac Time, but I saw a lot of people making comments about IG and his statements, but I think you misunderstood what his meaning to those statements. It is a known thing that in this country, it's interesting. A Muslim can get into political office faster than an atheist, can get into higher political office than an atheist could, because Christians will be at least more willing to accept a Muslim because at least they believe in some imaginary deity in the sky. And we see that happening right now. We see that in America. Muslims are getting political office. They're growing in political office. But you don't see atheists growing. And if they are, they're closet atheists. They keep it to themselves. They keep it to themselves. And that's a sad thing. But that just means I won't be president. Y'all want me to be president. Opus.
It says Opus, friend.
Oh, Opus. My bad. I don't have my reading glasses on, so forgive me. Are you over 21?
49.
49? Okay. And are you a believer?
Jesus is a living God, amen.
Okay. So that's yes. So what would be the benefit of me being Christian?
Reading the Bible and find out along scripture that Bible has been proven day in and day out. Like we bring up a name called Behemoth. You know what a behemoth is?
Yeah.
Behemoth is in Genesis. It's an animal that swings its tail like a cedar.
Okay.
We have animals with fossilized remnants of an animal that size.
Yeah, a blue whale. Not even fossilized. We got a blue whale.
Blue whale swings his tail on land, eats grass like an ox.
Nope. You just said an animal. You didn't specify those.
Behemoth, the name of the animal is called Behemoth.
Okay, we had a big old brontosaurus, stegosaurus.
Brontosaurus, perfect. So now we know that Brontosaurus is in the Bible. Wool and linen on scripture.
Okay, stop. Okay, dude, bro. Hold on. You don't. Okay, let me square your way on something. You don't get to just talk. Okay.
You have a contention.
You don't,
with religion, right?
bro. Let me finish what I was saying. We're either gonna have a conversation, right? So you don't just get to talk. Does the Bible have certain aspects of it that we can find in this world? Sure. Does that make the Bible true? No, because the same thing the Bible says, other religions say the same thing. That we can find the same thing that the Bible shows that are real in our world. Other religions have the same things that are real in our world.
The word behemoth in the Quran.
It doesn't have to be the exact same. Why do y'all always think it got to be the exact same thing?
That it is, friend. What you mean?
I said.
You said in all religions and all books, you make an absolute blunder. Show
No.
the name
Dude, don't try to control my show, okay? Let's not try to control my show. Don't try to control my show. No, you're stupid is what you are. Okay, he's just dumb. I can't talk to a dumb person. Did I say that every other book says that there's a behemoth in it? I said every book has certain things. You sound like you might be British or something. So you should understand American English. Every book have certain. Do you know what the word certain means? Does not mean behemoth. Does not mean exact thing that you can find. Okay. So then you want to go, oh, you behemoth, you made a blunder. That's childish. And I don't want to talk to children. That's why I asked if you're over 21, because I don't want to talk to children. That's just dumb. It's just a waste of my time. If that's your mentality. Makes no sense whatsoever. Ugh. I mean, shit. Even though Muhammad claimed he split the moon, but the moon is mentioned in the Quran. Does that make the Quran real? No, it doesn't. Oh my gosh. These Bible people are so funny to me in their thought process, because they think, oh, you can't control someone else's life. First of all, let's be sure of that. You call somebody else's life. Do your own damn life if you want to control and just say whatever the hell you want to say. Right. Are you looking for a guest to encourage you to be Christian? No, I'm not looking for encouragement at all. I'm just looking for factual reasons as to why I should be Christian. You know, like you got to be able to like prove Jesus existed, prove that the supernatural stuff in the Bible actually happened. I mean, if proving that Jerusalem existed, if proving that Hezekiah existed, that's not proof that the Bible exists, that the Bible is true. I didn't see your name. Let me see. What was the name on it? Okay. I see a lotus flower. What's your name?
Yes. Just call me Jazz. Jazz is fine.
Okay, Jazz. Are you over 21, Jazz?
I am. I'm 33.
Cool. Are you a believer in the Bible?
I believe the Bible is a book. I believe in it as far as there are lessons. There are lessons from it. Some of them good, some of them bad. But I don't think it's a guidebook in how one should live their life if you're just sticking to that alone.
No, I can agree with you there. I can agree with your entire statement that there are some things you can learn from the Bible. There are a lot of things that you shouldn't learn from the Bible. But it's just a book.
Yeah, I mean, like we got radios, we got televisions, we got a bunch of channels on it. Some of them are loaded with a bunch of garbage that you kind of are wasting your time and hurting yourself by spending time with it when you could be, on a different channel or not tuned into the TV. So, leaving those horizons open to yourself, I think, to oneself, is the best way of engaging with material and books like the Bible.
Yeah. And one of the things that I realized, a few decades ago is that everything that is good in the Bible, I can find somewhere else that doesn't have all the bullshit that the Bible has. Like,
Absolutely.
I could read the Tao and get every good lesson that the Bible has.
Depends on the translation.
Yeah.
Who was in charge of that one?
I haven't seen a bad translation of the Tao. That would be interesting.
No. It's not a bad translation as far as the different factors that are politically at play. When you see which ones, as far as who was in power, when now to power, that change as far as we saw. Like a good example is Journey to the West. That's one key example of things that got adjusted as far as how they were presented.
Oh, gotcha. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's
all I'm saying.
Yeah. So
translation, but what was going on at the time when it was translated.
Somebody utilizing their political powers and ambition to flip it onto something that it doesn't necessarily mean. No, I'm with you on that one. And you can see that with every religion, that people will abuse it to continue their political powers.
Religion kind of exists everywhere, at least in my eyes. It's a method of trying to teach people lessons that they didn't have terms for at the time. It's the older way of trying to teach lessons. You go back to, you held the kids around the fire when we were first, able to make fire and get the meat that we had and cook it over a fire. And you gesticulate and you grunt and you show the kids you don't take someone else's food because then the monster comes out of the woods to get you. Because you can't really communicate that, we have rations and this is a limited source here and the seasons. Like, you can't communicate that to a child when all he does.
Yeah.
And so you make do by grunting scarily and gesticulating large around the fire with the food.
And we have so many, and there's so many folklores that come about because for those reasons, to teach those type of lessons. We
lost so much of them because of colonialism and the amount of languages and records that were handwritten and done in mediums that they were tossed in the garbage and just destroyed because this is nonsense. This is garbage. We can't read this because it's not this script.
Yeah. And one of the things, and another way that it's done, and it's very popular, is, to me, is very popular. When they can't colonize you, when they can't unseat your power, then they try to find connections within theirs to make yours seem like it was theirs. Like with the in China, when they couldn't conquer China, they saw the lessons of Shan Di, and they tried to make Shan Di be Yahweh, and try to convince them that, oh, you're worshiping the same God that we're worshiping. You just call him Shan Di, but we call him Jesus.
It's a cult of personality that forms around
Yeah.
it.
And then as they implemented more economic power, then people started agreeing with them, because if I can't get military power over you, I'll use economic power to convince you that you should follow my version and not your version. So then that version get lost to those people after a few generations.
Yeah. And with all the tech that we have in play now, there's a lot that can be held over people's heads.
Yeah. I mean, in the United States right now, you got a certain group of Christians who want to bring back slave codes, simply because they're basing this on their belief in the Bible.
They've been around for a long time. They've been hanging out since before the Confederacy. They just
Yeah.
were quiet about it.
Yeah, they grew quiet for a while, and then they're popping back up. And on the flip side of that, you got there's a lot of black Christian style, or Abrahamic style religions that are cropping up and getting more popular, and they want to dominate people the same way that was done in the past, which is bullshit.
It's bullshit, but it's also very understandable right now because of this age of absurdity that we're in. Because the rate of information that we're being bombarded with is astronomical. It's hours pass before there's something new and earth-shattering. And there are a lot of studies going on right now that the human brain was not meant to take in this kind of data, this kind of information at the rate it is. And in Australia, they're seeing kids and teens with early onset symptoms that are only reminiscent of dementia.
Really?
Because of their engagement with social media and scroll and the cognitive dissonance. Like there are journalistic pieces on this from CNN, from BBC. There's 60 Minutes Australia segment on it. But no, there's a lot of Gen Z is actually taking things more in the direction of MySpace era. Again, MySpace is opening up again to be like, no, we've gone too far into this. The addiction to social media is what's destroying us. So it's
I'm gonna have to look up
believe
that.
the news, don't believe in a higher power. Yeah, I believe what I see. It's a fun little comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look. I haven't seen any studies on that. I'll look that up. You say this is in Australia, right? It wouldn't be.
There's one of that. There's also studies on that in the UK that have been done, psychological and mental health reports from within the state. So that's part of why they've been implementing, like in the UK, it's like no social media access or smartphone access to that until age 16 now, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And it's crazy that you said you don't believe in the news, don't believe in the Bible, right? Or religions.
Do I believe in the religions? Like, there's lessons in everything. Do I think that that the Bible is a script to the Sky Daddy? No, I don't.
Yeah, right. But the part that I was going to hit on is the fact that, the news, it used to, when it was a lower amount of news that you would receive every day. Now you're bombarded with so much news, but some of it, in this new advent of AI, you have to question whether or not what you're even seeing is real now. Like, because I was going to do a video that I thought was a real news story. But of course, I go and research things before I do a video. And the research that I did showed that the meme that I saw was a fake. That, they had a news organization on there, which was the BBC, but the BBC never reported this, and I was like, oh shit, this is just some fake BS. And at least it was showing that these statements were coming off of just social media.
Yes.
That there was no
That
real
is-
reporting on it.
The news is not in it. The news is not infallible. Like that's the kind of thing. There's always systems of power governing it, maintaining it, controlling it, and
Yeah.
choosing what gets dosed out.
Yeah.
And
But it was easier when I was growing up. It was easier when I was growing up
Oh, yeah.
to see the propaganda, because you knew there was some propaganda and based on something, but there was propaganda about it. Now it's becoming even more difficult to know.
that times were easy. Honestly, I feel like things were better. I'm gonna date myself. But before how we see how the elections changed when they moved from being on the radio to being television broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
The effect that had, as far as when you had to listen how the person spoke, and
Yeah.
what they said, as far as seeing them and what their appearance was, changed everything.
Yeah, it does.
And that's something. It is something that's historically proven, and the numbers from it were just a ghastly reflection.
Yeah, I think I know you talking about you talking about Kennedy Nixon.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that dude lost because of the way he looked on TV.
Well, Kennedy looked dapper as fuck. That was
Yeah.
a handsome man. That was a handsome man up there. He was speaking well. He was speaking like a New Englander.
Yeah.
He was out here talking nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Getting you ready for the presidency.
But if you looked at
he had flow. He
and
looked
it
good.
and if you look at the old footage of Nixon, the lighting was terrible, so it made him look ominous.
Yep.
And so he looked like a crook. He looked like somebody who's going to do you dirty. And he lost a lot of support. Just that alone, he lost a lot of support. And that's why it's like your physical appearance is making a difference in every damn thing we do.
Yes, but where that ties in is the exposure as far as to things like that. And I think that kind of connects into the topic, steer it back into the roots of this conversation. Why one should choose Christianity? I don't think anyone should. Because unless you're going into it looking at it like it's a storybook, which is what it is, you're looking for answers and salvation and how to identify threats in a very absurd and chaotic time that's unprecedented.
Yeah, you are.
And I just think it's not a safe move to make. It's something that's just going to set you and everyone you know up for a bad time.
Oh, definitely agree. I agree 100%. And you got to look at it like it's a a storybook. You look at it as something literal that you should follow in life, even allegorical that you should follow in life. I still wouldn't follow it because there are certain things that you cannot make that into a good lesson. Like, how do you
There's
make
one example specifically that does, and that's Jesus Christ Superstar by Andrew Lloyd Webber. And I am not kidding around here.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it is worth a watch. Things don't be Christian, but watch that movie. Listen to that music. Because
Man said Jesus Christ
yeah,
Superstar.
there's no spoilers to it because it's the story of Jesus. We know that one. But like the last number at the end is Judas descending down from heaven.
Oh, really?
I just think every time I look at you, I don't understand why you'd let the things you said get so out of hand. You'd have managed better if you'd had it planned. Oh, why'd you choose such a backward time in such a strange land? If you'd come today, you would have reached a whole nation.
This man has watched this
Israel
show.
in 4 BC had no mass communication. Jesus Christ.
How many times have you seen this show?
Who are you? What have you sacrificed? So it's a phenomenal piece. Well,
I see you really like that piece.
I love that piece, and I also am going to make peace for some opposition to get up here because we've been rambling, and I love the
Okay.
dynamic.
I appreciate
But,
you.
let's make some space for someone to come up here and convince you to be Christian. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Whatever that may be.
Appreciate that.
Best to
Thanks, Jazz. Hopefully, it's somebody that we can have an adult conversation with, not like the previous person who don't know how to have an adult conversation. Oh, there's no one in the queues right now. So we got about 15 to 30 minutes. I know there was some Christian talking trash over here on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, but I see that they're not bold enough. What's your name?
Tev.
Say it one more time.
Tevin. Short
Tevin.
Tev.
Okay, Tevin. You over 21, Tevin?
I'll be 35 next month, brother.
Cool. Are you a believer in the Bible?
God, yeah. I mean, I don't. So my belief is hard to explain, but I believe in God. The Bible, like you said, it's a storybook. So I kind of look at history and the book, and some things align, some things don't.
So where does your basis of God come from?
I don't know. I kind of always had a feeling of something greater than me, or my parents, or anybody that I knew.
So kind of Gnostic.
Sure. Not really. I mean, I grew up in church, but I don't specifically believe in Jesus.
Okay.
That the New Testament, I think, is an allegorical testimony about a rebellion of people more so than one man above a group.
Okay.
So, when you say that you wouldn't take the allegory in it as well, some of the allegory is meant to mislead you to think one thing rather than another.
Well, I wouldn't take when I say that there are certain, I'm delineating them down to specific ones. There are certain stories in the Bible where I don't see a positive storyline for the allegory. If I considered it an allegory,
I understand.
That's what I mean by that.
Like some of the destructive moments.
Yeah, Jesus calling the Canaanite woman a dog, and then only once she accepts the fact that she's a dog, then he heals her daughter.
That was rough, yes, but also understanding that these are Roman deists rewriting a narrative about this man or these people, So the narrative that they wrote, it's poetic in a sense, but it is off-putting, as you said.
Yeah, and I see. I wouldn't give that credit to the Romans, because when you look at the stories in the Old Testament, the Israelites are always putting themselves in a superiority complex situation in comparison to other people. So it kind of follows that same line.
Well, I think it's less they put themselves. Well, I'll give you that. They did put themselves in a place of idolatry, but that was never their purpose. Their purpose was always servitude to those around them. They had the most resources. It's like just to kind of give an analogy, like in Black Panther, where they're being how do you say they're being reserved with their resources. They don't want to share with the world. They don't want to give their technology to other nations because of fear of war. But then you see later in the storyline, they do eventually begin to deal with them diplomatically. But you see how that ended up working out, where it ended up turning on them. So in the story, there's a little bit of that going on, where Israel does give these resources to people, and they do go out onto these lands. But what happens is the Israelites go to these lands and they fail in their own personal customs. It's as if they went off and forgot about where they came from.
I mean, I can see some of that. I don't see where they were giving of their own abilities and resources. It seemed they were doing in the Old Testament, they were doing more taking than giving. But yeah, there was always the constant the constant issue that they go out and they get with some Moabite women and they start practicing the Moabite ways.
Exactly.
All right. But at the same time,
I don't mean to cut you off, but even in the taking, that's still relevant today. We still see war in modern times. So that's always been a part of mankind's history. So yeah. I don't negate that either.
Yeah, because they was straight up just genociding some people, or if they didn't genocide all the people, they only took the girls that were virgins and forced them into slave wife. So I'm like,
I have no contest there.
Yeah, they are. This is why I just dumped the book.
Live in those times.
We don't, but people are still moving in those times. If you look at what's happening with
Yes.
the Israelites and the Palestinians, they are moving in the same way that they moved against the Ammonites and the Moabites and all the other ites. It is let's destroy and take.
So even with that, I personally believe, and there's some cultural evidence that those people claiming to be Israelites today are not said people. So there is some misconception in that quote unquote holy war as well. There's a lot of faces that have changed.
Yeah. Now I will agree with you that the majority of the people who are claiming to be Israelites over there don't necessarily come from the line of Shem as their book describes them. Hell, I would say the Palestinians might be more in the line of Shem than they are. But I also think that trying to figure out,
people forget about the other side.
And that's where the ruling class definitely are coming. If they could trace their line, if I did accept the Bible as a true story, I would put them in Japheth corner. But you wouldn't be. I don't think that anybody would be able to determine what group of people would be in the line of Shem.
Correct.
That it's been so. The world has mixed so much, especially in that region, that you wouldn't be able to distinguish anybody, any ruling group. But people are claiming stuff and they're acting out what that book says. And the only thing I take comfort in living in the United States, but I can see some erosion of it, is that the morality of the United States outpaced the morality of the Bible. And so we don't make our laws based on this Bible. We don't, the culture of America, which of course is a big mixture, doesn't follow the Bible. Even though we definitely got groups trying to push it more so now than they have in any other recent time.
I think for me personally, the push is less about religion and control and more so about a natural way of living, because that's what the Torah speaks of. It speaks of agricultural laws. It speaks of morality laws. It just speaks of a way of carrying yourself in life, a clean way of living. And do I think that it's something for everybody? I mean, clearly it's not,
No.
But I do think that it is a preservative way to carry yourself, if that's the lifestyle that you want. Now, if you're into, a life of what some people call vanity, I see you, but be careful with those, okay? If you're into hold on, sorry.
I remember those days. His son wanted his attention. But
yeah, sorry. So like I said, my main thing is just it's a more simplistic way of living. Like say for your off-gridders, those type of people that would, like to be off on a reservation somewhere,
Mhm.
or somebody like myself that would want to, create a place of refuge for people. I'm, as they say, an African American man. I don't really refer to myself as that, but our people have gone through a lot in life, and not just our people, but I want a place specifically for us to where they can come and have resources and prayerfully rebuild their life. But you can't help everybody, so it's just kind of a draw in the hat.
It is, but in order to do that, you have to cherry pick what parts of the book you're going to follow.
No, not. So I don't think you have to do that either.
No, okay. Do you have a daughter?
Yeah.
Would you make your daughter marry her rapist?
No.
You got to cherry pick then.
No, I would have to you know, I'd have to repent for that transgression because the law does state, and I'm glad that you brought that up. You know, the law does state that you're supposed to give him a chance. Unfortunately, I'm not God, and I didn't write the law, so I wouldn't give him a chance. I'd have to ask for forgiveness for that one, big dog. Whatever.
Which is cherry picking. You saying that I ain't following that one? To hell with that one. Which I'm with you. I ain't following that either.
But you know, I think that's the part of grace and, you know, mercy, because the Father's judgment isn't our judgment. So where he wrote this law, he might take your judgment better than what the law said in the moment because you acted righteously. I mean, what father wouldn't do that?
But and see, that's righteousness based on how our morality is today.
True.
You know, we don't see women don't get devalued simply because somebody had sex with them or they had sex willingly.
Correct.
But you know, in that time frame, the value of a woman was her sex and her ability to produce sons.
Correct.
So thankfully we see women's value as a higher value than that. So we don't engage in those types of rules. And mind you, that's only been for about 60 years that we've kind of pushed past that kind of stupid stuff.
Misogyny.
Yeah. And we're still pushing past it. We're not there yet. You know, some men, we still got people who value women based solely on how many bed partners they've had, you know, which is dumb as hell to me. You can go and bang as many women as you want, but then if a woman explores her sexuality, her value is less all of a sudden. No, that's not even right. And I'm definitely not going to go with the slavery parts of the Bible. Even if I was the master, I'm not going with the slavery part.
Servitude, slavery, verbiage, semantics.
Them ain't semantics in Leviticus 25. Them straight up rules. Foreigners, you can make slaves as property, chattel, slavery. Your own group are the ones who are in servitude, who are just servants, and you have to release them every Jubilee, whether it's the 7th year Jubilee or the 50th year Jubilee. They are the only ones that get released. They're the only ones that you're not supposed to beat. They're the only ones you're not supposed to kidnap. But foreigners.
Can I ask a real question?
Sure.
Since it's you know, everybody's weary of end times. You know, there's wars going on here and there, blah blah blah. Say conflict does reach America, and your regime is the top one.
Okay.
When it comes to defending your country or having to go to leave the states to other countries after everything is, you know, falling out a bit to gain resources, the people there, what do you do with them? Do you leave them there with no resources to?
No.
Or
no, well, I can't. Okay, so I served in the Marine Corps. I served during time frames of conflict and war. So,
thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem. And I do agree with 90% of the Geneva Convention. 90%. So I think that you do like what we did in Liberia. We incorporated those people into our society. And I know I only met one person after years later, and he incorporated very well, productive citizen in the United States, you know, doing his thing. So I think you incorporate them into your society. I don't think you make them slaves or you put them in, you know, ghettos or anything like that. But you give them the opportunity to become productive citizens.
I think that's the diplomatic way.
Yeah.
Based on an agreement. Now, what if they refuse?
Now, if they refuse, then they got to go.
Lay them down.
Well, nah.
That's
See,
what I'm saying.
I ain't gonna lay them down completely, but I ship them off. You got to go. You go somewhere else. You know, if you don't want to, if we went and saved you from so in Liberia we saved them from a civil war that they was going through, right? And if somebody had got on our ship and we got them up the road to Spain, and then there was like, I don't want to be here in Rhoda. I don't want to conform to Spanish life. I don't want to take the flights to America and become part of American life. All right, you ship your ass right back to Liberia then. Go back. You know, and here's the kicker. The guy that I wound up running into in Atlanta, I had to force him onto the helicopter. He didn't want to leave. But I snatched him up because I was like, dude, they're going to kill you. You know, you was a reporter reporting against Taylor. Your ass is going to get killed if you stay here. So I forced him back on there. I'm a Marine. I am not a soldier.
Sorry. That's right. That's right.
But when it comes to now, when you're fighting your enemies, after you've defeated your enemy, we can see how America went in and reconstructed Japan. The European powers, for the most part, reconstructed Germany. There was some things you got to put in place. You know, they got to earn back because they were your enemy. They got to earn their. I hate to say freedom. They got to earn.
I understand.
They got to earn their equality. Put it that way. They got to earn their equality. Now they got to earn it, but without us putting obstacles in their place.
Right.
Kind of like after Reconstruction in America, after the Civil War, you know, the Civil War Southerners, they got the opportunity to rebuild. But the freed slaves, yeah, they had the opportunity to rebuild, but about 2-3 years after the war was over, obstacles put in place. You can't do that.
So in the law, there's law on slavery. So after 6 years, the 7th year, you release them, with something. You don't just
not foreigners.
send them away with nothing.
Not foreigners. That's the part that people confuse. That's within 25. That's only your fellow Israelites.
Right. That's the Hebrew servant opposed to the stranger. But that law can be applied to the stranger as well, because in times of jubilees, people are released.
Okay, but see, that's the cherry picking. You're changing what the law in the Leviticus say to go with the better law and extend that to everybody. I would agree with you, extend it to everybody. If the Bible said that, that'd have been a wholly different story. But it doesn't say that, so you have to cherry pick that part.
That's the thing. It's not about cherry picking, because the Bible is only man's understanding of God. So if God doesn't even like bloodshed, there should never even be a reason for war in the first place.
He told people to go to war. He told people to go kill people and genocide people.
He also doesn't like bloodshed.
But he told people to go and do the bloodshed.
See what I'm saying? So is he cherry picking or we cherry picking?
Shit, both. Because and this is why I say he cherry picking. He's cherry picking based on who he has decided is his favorite children. Because when it came down to if the Israelites were being conquered by somebody, better yet, when he says that he is the one who sent the Amorites, I think, or somebody, he was going to purposely send them to crush the Israelites for their disobedience.
Right.
He never allowed them to genocide the Israelites. But when he sent the Israelites into the Canaanite lands, he's like, nah, kill all them. So he's picking based on who his favorite children are, even when he's going against the don't murder. It's still a difference. He got a favorite. And that would be like you having a favorite child. You got one child or more than one?
I have two.
Would you pick one as your favorite? Overall favorite. Just favorite.
I can't.
Exactly.
I got a boy and a girl, so I got two favorites.
Exactly. And even though sometimes the favoritism is different, I ain't gonna say that for you. For me, my favoritism was different. My girls could get away with a hell of a lot more than that boy could.
Yes, already. 5.
Oh yeah, so you already there.
Yeah,
But
my girl's 3.
that's why I had to say overall. Overall, I don't have a favorite child, but I do show favoritism in certain areas for each one of my children. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I let my son do shit that I wouldn't let the daughters do at different ages. And most of that was for protective reasons and learning reasons.
I understand that.
Like even now, my daughters, they can come and live with me for as long as they want to. That boy, you got to have a plan. And I'm gonna need you to get the hell on after a certain amount of time.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But look, I appreciate you, bro. I'm finna get off here in about 10 minutes. So let me see if these last couple of people on here, and then I'm out.
Peace to you, bro.
All right, peace to you too. Later. Had a good conversation. See, Opus don't know how to have a good conversation like that. So sad. So sad. So very sad. Between these last two people, I don't know who came up first, but like most, I don't think that most people don't hit this on purpose. Gray, man, where my glasses at? I can't see these names. Graylin, you just muted yourself, Graylin. Graylin Pullman, Pullum. Graylin. Did you mean to come up, Graylin? I don't think Graylin meant to come up. All right, good people. Because I think for the most part, most people who participate in religions are decent people, most of them. Thankfully, most people who participate in religion don't participate in all this bullshit. I did see your comment earlier. What's her name? Wait, why no? I did see the story of the lady who was talking about she was opening portals to be able to talk for Trump to get direct connection with God over Mar-a-Lago and the White House. I did see that. I did a video on it like a week ago. So if you want to see my comments on her opening a portal, I did that video about a week. I think it was last week when I did that video about that bullshit. I did publish 2 videos today. One is correcting what this lady was saying about archaeological evidence that points to the Bible, which she's talking about King David and the Tel Dan Stela, as well as Pontius Pilate. She had a 2-part video, but Dan McClellan did the first part of her video, and he did an excellent job on it. And I wanted to talk more about the philosophical part anyway. I can't stand when it happened personally. I know not everybody watches Dan McClellan's video, but I hate when he sees something, I see something, and he beats me to the damn video. It's just a competition thing in me. But that was if you watch Dan's video on her first part, because she really screwed up all the stuff about Isaiah that's in Daniel. That's in Daniel concerning Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuchadnezzar and Belteshazzar. It shows how a lot of these people don't even read their own book before they make some of these videos. But she definitely don't understand what the Tel Dan Stela is saying and how the Tel Dan Stela shows a contradiction in the Bible. So you either going to choose what the Bible says or what the Tel Dan Stela says. And if you choose the Bible, then that takes away your proof of this house of David. But even if it is a house of David, psychologically, does that mean David did all the shit that he claimed that he did? It doesn't mean that. And that's the problem when people say that Jesus, there are historians who say that Jesus was a real person. Even though I disagree wholeheartedly with that. And I think that a lot of those people are saying that because for financial reasons. At the end of the day, even if you could prove a person named Yeshua was walking around in the 1st century claiming to be the Son of God, claiming to be the Jewish Messiah, and even if he was preaching it in some esoteric manner, that still doesn't prove that he walked on water, that he fed 5,000 people with a 2-piece fish meal. It doesn't prove any of those things. It might just prove that someone existed, which is why I brought up Alexander the Greek to the other guy, the youth pastor. He believes Alexander the Greek was a real person, but doesn't want to say that he was born divine. But he want to do that for Jesus, because that's where the cognitive dissonance goes. That's where I got to believe in my narrative, and so I'll dismiss the same evidence for someone else's narrative, right? If you're going to say that the Bible, the Gospels attest to him, well, the Iliad attests to, well, I keep wanting to say Archimedes, but not to Achilles. But does that mean Achilles existed? Does that, and if you say he did, does that mean that he is the child of one of the gods? It doesn't mean none of that. We found the city of Troy. We know Jerusalem exists. Since we found the city of Troy, right? I don't know who that is. The city of Troy. Does that mean Achilles existed? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. Does that mean that they even got up built a Trojan horse and they climbed up in it and they pulled it into the city walls? It doesn't mean those. It doesn't even mean that happened. We have no proof of that. We just got the story of Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, which I'm going to watch the Odyssey this week. Damn sure going to watch Spider-Man this weekend. So anyway, that's the end of the day. I appreciate all you guys coming up here. Janelle, thank you for the 10 jewels. Everybody who supports the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. And it doesn't matter how big it is. 10 jewels, I think that's like 10 cents. I appreciate the 10 cents. The fact that you're willing to do it is very humbling for me, to be able to, that people will support this channel in the way that they do. And all the gifts that are given on TikTok, thank you for those gifts. It's not about the amount. It's about the fact that you did it. That it means something to me. So I thank you guys for that. And I appreciate it. So I'll be back here tomorrow at 2 o'clock, between 2 and 2:30. We go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday between 2 and 2:30. We stay on until about 5 because my wife comes home and I don't like y'all that much. So y'all have a great day. Continue to share this channel. Continue to be subscribers, fans, super fans. Thank you guys for it. Y'all have a great day. And always remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.